Hello, and welcome to round 5 of the SRL Syndicate Racing League 100% season. So, I'm Crab, race director and main commentator here in the Syndicate Racing Discord. If you've not tuned in before, be sure to look at our Discord, get involved. Just quickly, while the cars are going out on their laps, to start the qualifying, let's quickly just go through the standings as they are after round 4. So, Struggs is still in the lead of the championship with 85 points. Fade closed down the gap last weekend. His teammate, Williams' teammate, he's now on 72 points, so only a 13-point difference between those two. OS Degrees, he is in third place. Nice bit of consistency he's built, and he's got 52 points. Matusas, very unfortunate to crash out last weekend. He's on 40 points, and Scholar Bull, he is 5th with 31 points. So, the constructors, just to wrap things up, 157 points for Williams already. They have took a kind of massive lead. Really, really hard to claim that one back. And Ferrari have 74 points following them up. Alpine closer behind with 52 points. AlphaTauri with 38. And Aston Martin with 36 points in 5th position. So, let's jump in to the weekend. And we're at Spa-Francorchamps, the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. It's historic. I've heard that it is staying on the calendar for future years, and I am very glad about that. Let's go into spectator menu and get some of the correct telemetry, lap data, track map enabled. And let's have a look at who is on an outlap. So who would be the first going around? I think it must be Matusas, who is the first to set a lap. Let's go and follow Matusas as he goes through Eau Rouge and Radion and goes on to the Kemmel Straight. All the way uphill on the Kemmel Straight. Looks flat in the game, but it is uphill to the highest point of the circuit as he rushes towards the Lecum sector. So brakes about the 50, turn it in and left hand, and turns into the right hand of Malmedy. Going very wide there. So this isn't going to be a top lap for Matusas, and he's actually already invalidated. So let's go on board with Dead in the Pool. So he's starting his lap. In the Aston Martin, he's the only reserve driver this weekend. He's in for Ugrif 88. Dead in the Pool, I believe it may be his first league outing. Correct me if I'm wrong about that one. Someone in the comments, in the chat, should I say? As I'll just switch over to the chat so I can actually have a view of it. There's also a spinner at Pouon. That must be Matusas, if I'm correct. Looks like an Alpine. And let's go flick to it. Yeah, it looks like he is covering on the outside of Pouon. That really tricky left-hander, not flat anymore with these newer cars. There's a definite lift in there. Whereas last year's cars, certainly in qualifying trim, you could basically hold that flat. So that's come unstuck from Matusas. He's already invalidated his lap as we rode on board with him earlier. Louis Vest, he must be coming towards the end of the lap now. He does. He's through Blanchimont. And coming up to the old bus stop chicane. The right left-hander, really low traction this corner. Louis Vest, he goes into the pits because he's invalidated his lap time, and he gives it a good old clonk for good measure. As we go through, we have Struggs setting the early pace, a 1:44. So it's only Q1, remember, so only the final 5 will go out. 1:45, these look like fast times. These look like times fast enough to get into Q3. So those lap times will be happy enough for the 2 Williams cars. Only cars to set a lap so far are championship leaders in the constructors and 1 and 2 in the championship as they are on grid in the drivers championship after round 4. A good race from Fade last time out. And we have OS Degrees, he's gone and set a 1:46, gone into third. Dead in the Pool, he's a 1:46.6. McLeod's 1:47.2, one of the most improved drivers of the year. That is McLeod. Certainly, getting points this year and has made vast improvements of pace compared to his F1 2021 form. And we have Toblerone, he's gone over the line. And we have a Haas coming up as well. That must be Mr. No, it's Wall 123, who's recovering from illness. He is not on an outlap. He's on his time here. So where is Wall 123 going to go? On his return to the grid, it's 7th at 1:48.3. So similar time to Toblerone, only 3 100ths of a second between the two. So that's good news. Or is it 3 tenths? That's 3 tenths, not 100ths. I always get it the wrong way around. So we have a Red Bull going over the line. That's AJS Inden, who set a lap time of 1:45. We also have a McLaren coming through the final sector. Let's go on board with Geordie, who has picked up the full-time seat of McLaren. He's reserved for quite a number of cars this year so far. Haas and Alpine, possibly Aston Martin as well, but now he has the full-time seat of the McLaren as Duck Doodles has dropped down to a reserve driver. Chonk is out 15th, and Skolderborn has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane, so some kind of infringement there. Geordie's gone in and put a 1:46.1 as he's cut the time being, so he'll be happy with that. We also have McLeod, he must be coming into the pits. Chonk is out, he's crashed out. There's a DSQ of Lou and Skull. I think they must be some kind of incident there has caused them to leave the session. So now there's only really, realistically, 2 places where you can fall out of this qualifying session. We'll see. We have 8 cars yet to set a lap time, 7 cars yet to set a lap time who still could. Those are Fence, Joker, Matusas, Fox, Sol, Kev, Ben, and Alex in the McLaren. Are any of those on laps? Quite a few of those are on laps. Captain Rainbow Fox in the Ferrari. Where is he coming up to? He's going through the double left-hander pull on the tricky second sector, which is really hard to optimise on the track because you need straight line speed into the right-left of Pief Path, Lefanu chicane. As we come to Stavolo, he has a bit of traffic in front. The car dips out of the way, not quite sure who that was. Possibly an AlphaTauri, another AlphaTauri gets out of the way, it's spun. As we come to this difficult traction zone, just as the third sector begins, really important as it leads you all the way down this series of turns through Blanchimont, this double left-hander. Really tricky, flat out in modern days F1 cars. As he comes to the bus stop, he's still on the lap, so we will see where Captain Rainfox can put his scarlet red Ferrari. Can he put it into a similar place of Earth degrees? You're looking for a 1:46, going to be slightly behind that, a 1:44, so 2 places behind OS, and I think he'll be happy with that straight out of the books. I think I was imagining a 1:46 was being the cutoff for Q2, but I think Q1 rather, but I think it's going to be more 1:46.5, maybe a 1:47 to get round into Q2. Obviously 5 cars drop out, and we have quite a few cars already out. Chonks had a collision somewhere, Louis Vest and Scholar Bull. Maybe Chonk has just retired in the pits. I've heard some people saying, I don't want to be involved in any kind of first turn incident. I will just back out of it and try and unpick it from outside of the carnage that will happen. Well, hopefully it won't, but there's a strong chance of carnage at La Source. So we have Toblerone on track. He's on a lap. He's 14 seconds down, apparently, on a lap time. Doesn't seem to be full beans. Seems to be cruising over the bus stop. And he is coming into the pits, so down on his time and possibly just an in-lap for him anyway, as we have most of the cars have either set a lap time or are going to set a lap time. IBM, where is he? Is he on a lap here? I think he is on a lap. I think he is on push lap, so let's see where he comes. So we have IBM coming through Blanchimont. It's such an amazing track. Such an amazing track this one is. Coming to this final tricky corner. And, he's invalidated anyway. I should really look. Bottom right corner of the screen, you'll see it's all red. And that means he's invalidated his lap time. So he is not on a push lap. Kev, I don't think he's on a push lap either. I think he's returning to pits. We've already had 3 cars say, that's enough. I don't need to set any more lap times. That's the 1:44. 4, the 1:45, and the 4:5 from Strug's Fade, and AJ absolutely butchered saying that. So, in the chat, we have Joker saying, let's go Alpine. Ziman, last week's co-commentator, sorry I couldn't be there to help commentate. Looks like it'll be a killer race. Yeah, I'm really hoping so. Ziman, you were excellent in the commentary booth. You're welcome back anytime, my friend. And, I think Joker has said it would be a killer T1, certainly for some. So we have Matusas. He is on that outlap. Of course, we were riding on board with him. His car is mega dirty. Looking at his right side pod, you can tell he's been into the walls. The right and left side pod are very muddy. Toblerone has retired from the session. Is that a crash? No, it looks like he's just retired from the session, happy with his time. A bit dangerous, as there's still 2 drop zone areas he could fall out as. And 1:41.81, I think that's not going to be a comfortable lap time. So certainly with Matusas, Fence, Joker, Sol, IBN, Alex Trent G, all capable of setting fast lap times. I don't know quite why he's retired so early, but we'll see. So we'll go on board with Matusas again. Let's have a second attempt. And he really tries to maximise the turn in for the final corner. Let's go on board as he starts his lap, heading to La Source. Upwards, nearly 300 kilometers an hour as you brake and dip into this right-hander. Really tricky early on the traction, early as possible, as you are carrying your momentum all the way through to the top of the Kemmel Straight. But first, we tackle the iconic corner of Eau Rouge and Radion, the uphill corner where you climb most of the height of the track in just a matter of seconds. And you continue up the Kemmel Straight, still going uphill to the highest point of the circuit. There come the tricky right-left-hander here and right-hander. But this final part I'm going to name Malmedy because that's what its traditional name is. The right-hander of Malmedy, a lot better through there. There's a yellow flag in the sector as there's been some collision as they go into Bruxelles, formerly known as Rivage. And there is a car off the track, looks like a Mercedes as he goes through Speaker's Corners. Nice power on the exit into this downhill section. Left-hander of Pouon. Little bit of a lift, stay in 7th gear as we head further down to Pit Path. Now getting to the lowest points of the circuit. The right left-hander 4th and 5th gear are used through here as we come to Stavolo. A bit of traffic ahead. It's now Fattori. I don't know if he's quite seen him yet. Difficult place to get out of the way there. That will certainly cost maybe a tenth or so. It's the fastest middle sector we've seen from Matusas. And this is it feels like a straight, but there are 2 left-handers here. The 2 left-handers of Blanchimont used to be very tricky, now just flat out. Maybe dangerous to have an overtake in there in the race. And the final chicane, the bus stop chicane was its old name. Very different corner from the old bus stop chicane. And he comes over to cut the timing beam. Where does that put him? That's a 1:46.4. So that's enough for 6th position. You'd have to imagine that would be enough to get him through to Q2. As there is a spinning Alpine at the top of Radion. And the Kemmel Straight, he's going slowly. We also have IBN. He's coming onto a lap now. So let's see. We also have Alex Trent G. He's on a lap. He's coming through Pouon. Let's go on board with him, or at least follow along with him, because he will be the next person to set a lap time, presuming he doesn't invalidate it through Stavolo. Well, it's actually Pit Path this and then into Stavolo. Such a tricky corner, this one. Really hard to gauge where you need to turn it in and maximise the turn in. Try to stay full throttle as much as possible. A little bit of a lift through there. And we come to Blanchimont. That says that's the purple middle sector. So some purple middle sector times. Now, purple middle sector usually dictates that actually you're not going to have that good a lap compared to others, because you are not maximising the low drag setup, which is good for overtaking and good for the first sector, definitely, and quite good for the third sector. So where does he go? As he costs jumping 4th position, so up into 4th position. That was a good lap from Alex Trent G. Excellent middle sector. But those top times, I presume, are all low drag setups. Struggs, I believe, running 0-0 wings, because he's an absolute menace to the league. We have some more comments. Come on, the Russians. Bit sus from Kev. Obviously, I mean Haas and not the actual Russians. That's a great clarification there. Although I don't think Haas have any kind of Russian influence in them now, unless I've missed a hot topic story. We have some more cars coming to the end of the lap. McLeod is about to set a lap time here. Does he improve? Or yes, he goes 5 tenths quicker. 1:46.7. We also have Joker. He's come into the pits. No, he's setting another lap, I believe. He span at the top of Radion. I don't know if that was his out lap or his first hot lap, but he certainly has enough charge to do a hot lap here. Yet to set a lap time, and currently in the drop zone alongside Fent, who is also on an out lap. So currently in the drop zone is Fent, Joker, and of course the 3 non-running cars of Chonk, who I believe has just retired in the pits. Louis Revest, who has been disqualified, and Scott Bull, who has also been disqualified. Interesting to know why you guys have been disqualified if you're watching along. And if you are watching along and you haven't followed us yet, we'd really appreciate the follow. We're going for 50, so we can become a Twitch affiliate, which means we can start milking this train for cash. Hopefully we can inject that back into the league. 50 followers would be great. At the moment, we've got 33 followers, so just 17 followers to there. Also, follow us on our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you aren't involved with the Discord, please join the Discord. We're welcome to all platforms now, running crossplay casual sessions during the week, as well as the SRL-100 League, which you're watching right now, and potentially the SRL 50% League coming in very shortly. Joker 96, who we're watching right now, he will be running that as race director as things stand. So big shout out to Joker. Really appreciate all he's done for the community and the Discord. As well with all the other people who really help out with the server. We couldn't run the server without all the good faith that we have from our participants. So, Joker 96, where will this put him? Yet to set a lap time, and could he be dethroning some of the cars in front from their positions? Yeah, up to 12. So Toblerone now, he's retired very early. Wool is still in the pits, so I don't think Wool's going to be coming out, but we have Kev and Fence certainly capable of putting in a faster lap time than a 1:48.1. Fence certainly, as he comes through, look, he's gone fastest in the first sector, so you've got to presume that he's fastest in the first sector, but really, really tricky traction through Malmedy, and that's a 0-0 ring setup if I've seen one. He's got no downforce through the middle sector, and there's a wheel off just at the top of there. There's a wheel off just off to the right of Malmedy. Fence is retired from the session on track, which he's not meant to do. So unless he has an explanation for that, he's really not meant to retire on the track during qualifying. So that will be looked at by the stewards, because we have cars behind him going faster. So I think Toblerone is probably safe. He is safe, right? Fence is out of this session. Kev is out of this session. He's coming into the pits now. And Wool 123, he's through to Q2. So the cars out are Mr. Ball Bagway, Kev, Fence in the AlphaTauri. He just saw him spin after setting the fastest first sector. Chonk, he is retired from the session really early on, and Louis Vest and Scott Bull disqualified for some kind of infringement. One valid lap from Wool 123, but that's all you need to get through. So congrats on your return to racing. I wish you all a great recovery, Wool. It's great to see you back in the league so soon after your illness, so it's great to see you back. And we will take a quick clip of this as soon as we go into... we are at time remaining because we do have cars on track, so they could go faster, right? But they don't need to. McLeod is plus 4 tenths nearly on his current lap. Joker's got a yellow flag, so he's cruising. McLeod is going to set a lap time here. Can he improve? It's still plus 2 tenths, but he doesn't care for naught about that. And Geordie has crossed the finish line, so it's just Joker we are waiting to return to the pits, or better yet, cross the finish line. No, he's returning to the pits, so that's fine. Kev says a shocking lap for him. Yeah, a bit off the pace there. I think you didn't nail your final lap either, did you, Kev? At least there's one hat through to the next round of qualifying. So, just in a second, I will clip the results of Q1, just in case there's a ready-up rule infringement. Hopefully there isn't. So, ready-up rule, for those who aren't aware, we give people 5 minutes when on the grid to just have a breather. Only admin can ready up. And if someone does ready up before that 5-minute timer, they are jump to the back of the grid and we reform the grid based on results from qualifying. So, Mr. Paul Bagway in 16th, Fence starting the race from 17th, Chonk 18th, Louis Vest 19th, and 20th for Scholar Bull, presuming that there is no safety car, there's no further infringements in the later parts of qualifying from the cars ahead. So let's just take a clip of that. I will go silent just for a second while I do that. we're back for qualifying 2. The session which will give us the top 10 shootout and knock out the final 5 cars from qualifying. We don't have any cars going out to the grid yet, and what I haven't checked yet is if there'll be any kind of wet race infringements from wet race infringement. I don't know what I'm saying. I mean wet race kind of inflictions on this qualifying session. So let's go into my sim dashboard app where I'll be able to get a little bit of telemetry, and I have a rain set up. So there's no rain in this qualifying session or the next one predicted. I don't know if there is any for the race. Someone in the chat can probably tell us if there's a race. Louis' disqualification was for being Canadian, obviously. That would make sense. And Kev says he hasn't played all week, and it's showing. I'll come good during the race eventually. And Lou saying that Kev looks as good as ever. Obviously, no love lost between those two. So, we have cars going out to the grid. Who will be the first one to set a lap time? I believe it will be Struggs. He is right at the front of this queue with the purple helmet. We love to see Struggs' purple helmet week in, week out in that Williams car. Our championship leader, we didn't watch his lap time last time round, but let's see what he can do now. A mid 144s last time round. I'm sure he'll be eager to go even faster than that as he warms up his tyres on this lap. Obviously, we've had an update since last weekend. Tyre warm-up is not as much of a problem. Still not fantastic, though. Good to see that we are now 2 months into the life cycle of F1 2022, and it is still diabolical. So, as Struggs will be the first car to set a lap time, we will go on board with him. Well, it's not on board. I mean, we'll follow him as he comes through the final sector. Let's go on board. And he doesn't do the Matsushita trick of absolutely maximising that final corner. Just chooses to do the normal line as he comes to the first corner. And let's get some of our detail back on, actually, because we had our telemetry turned off there. So, coming through the first sector, up through Eau Rouge, left then right into Radion, the left handle at the top of the hill, the right handle of the Kemmel straight is ahead, and you can kind of tell there is an incline here. As we come to Lecum, spot your braking points just before the 50-metre marker, and right hand through Malmedy. Try and use that right hand curve as much as possible to maximise your exit down to Bruxelles. Braking as the curbing starts. Moving over to the left, maximising corner onto the right, entry of Speaker's Corner. This is one of the corners that has been changed in real life this year, but still running the previous configuration of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, because Cody's have not put the changes for this year's racetrack into the race, which is a shame. Because there's gravel traps on the exit of Pouon, there's gravel traps on the exit of La Source. The whole track is much more challenging, basically. If you run wide, you're going to be losing a lot more time. Obviously, that doesn't quite come through to the game, but, cars could beach there in real life, and we have the fastest sector from Struggs. It's to be expected to be the only sector by any of our runners in this qualifying session, flat out through Blanchemont. This car will be running a very low drag setup, so should be quick through the first and final sectors. Let's see where he goes. Looks like it's been a very tidy lap from Struggs, our championship leader. Where does that put him as he cuts the timing beat? It's a 1:44.7, so I think a good lap, but I think he's still got more pace in that car. OS Degrees follows it up with a 1:46 as we have the two Alpines. They come over the line. Where do they go? We have Joker, he's gone on 1:46.8. And we have Fade, he has a 1:45.2. HS Inden has gone faster than Struggs, 1:44.7. Been very, very difficult. His recent race form, as he wears a different helmet this weekend. Been wearing a green helmet previously, but this is a kind of, I don't know, it kind of looks Wonder Woman-esque from the back, or maybe even the Russian flag. So him showing his support for the wrong side there, I think. And yeah, he's had a very challenging last couple of weeks. It looks like he's invalidated this lap, but he won't go for naught because it's an in lap. First lap of the Australian Grand Prix, he was took out. First lap, first corner. And last weekend, he was involved in a collision at the first corner, or really the second corner, because it stands as 1, 2, and 3 at Mexico. And that, I think, gave him damage for the race. And he crashed out very early into it. So he's been having a difficult time, but he'll be happy with that first lap time. Should be enough to get him into Q3 straight away. IBN has split the Williams in the AlphaTauri, 1:45.1. And he is on an in-lap surely now. We have the two McLaren cars. They are possibly giving each other a tow here, working together a bit. Alex Trent G getting a bit of a tow from Geordie. Is he going to back off, or as they just line astern as they go into Lacombe? Yeah, I don't think he's giving a tow necessarily, but if Alex plays down on Geordie here, and Alex has had some serious pace, he may cost him through the second sector as they have a bit of wash going through it. There's a slow car in the third sector. That must be AJ, possibly allowing faster cars through. And we have the two McLarens coming up to Pouon as Aston Martin trying not to get in the way on the entry of Pouon. That was a very difficult place to give positions back to cars. Faster cars are coming through. So Geordie this weekend, as I said earlier, he is now a full-time McLaren race driver, the number 50 car, racing alongside Alex Trent G. So a new look from the start of the season for McLaren, as Rugriff moved to Aston Martin to replace me. And Geordie has now replaced Duck Doodles, who's dropped down to a reserve driver. We have Soul Collector. He didn't set a lap time. Captain Rainbow Fox looks like he's just gone out on a lap. So we'll watch these two McLarens go through as they cut the timeline. They're both still on valid laps. So let's see where they go. Geordie gets a 1:45.1. Good pace from Geordie. And Alex Trent G a 1:46. So I think slowed down just a little bit, being in the dirty wake of the McLaren of Geordie, but a very, very good lap time. Looking like a very competitive weekend here. That could be enough to get through to qualifying 1. Qualifying 3 already, the top 10 shootout. Currently in the drop zone, dead in the pool. Wool, Toblerone, who's on an out lap, and the inside lap, Fox, who's on a hot lap. And we are following with now the Scarlet Ferrari of Captain Rainbow Fox as he goes through Piff Paff. And Soul Collector, who's in the pit, so must have had invalidated the time because he was out earlier on. So, just going through Stavolo now. As he wraps up to the end of the lap, he's got a fastest middle sector, but realistically that means that he's not got much. He's got quite a lot of downforce compared to others on the car, unless Fox is just rapid through that middle sector. And he comes to the bus stop, heavy braking zone. Misses that apex slightly, so not quite as tidy as it could be, but let's see where he goes. Is it enough to get him out of the top 10? Yes, it is. So into 7th position, slots in just 2 places in front of his teammate Eris Degrees, pushing him down to 9th. Yeah. So a bit of a breather. We have a couple cars on out laps. Geordie, Captain Raven Fox, Alex, they have all set their lap. McLeod must be on all the time right now, actually thinking about it. So he is going through Pouon, trying to improve on a 1:47 flat. As he goes through Piff Path to Lafania chicane, comes up to Stavolo. Can he go faster than 1:47, McLeod? Certainly showed improved pace through this year, along with the car just in front of him on the timing screens at the moment, Joker. Those two have certainly been the most improved this year, being very, very quick, very consistent. Compared to last year's pace, where can the Mercedes driver put his car for this qualifying session? Probably have time to do one more lap. And it's a 1:47 still, just plus 1/10 down on his fastest time with that lap, so not quite as quick as he had hoped. Toblerone is now on a quick lap. He is coming to Lacombe at the top of the hill. Right, then left we go. I think at the moment every car down from possibly. I think Matusas is probably just safe, but I think Matusas will probably come out again. But every car down from Matusas will have to go again. I think the 145.2 seems about 2 tenths slower than I imagined for the cut-off for Q2. But I imagine that 143.8 would be the predicted pole time, which at the moment we're second off. But I think we could see low 144 certainly in that final sector. I don't think the top teams have actually brought their absolute A game in terms of one lap pace out. A bit of a lift through there. That will cost them all the way down here for Toblerone in the Alfa Romeo. As we jump off and watch the car deal with the challenge, the flat-out challenge of Blanchimont. And down into the bus stop. Right. And then left. Tried not to lose the back end. Plant the throttle as early as possible. And where does this put him? Hasn't had a lap time yet. 147.6. So up one position. But back of the grid in terms of cars that have set a really valid and representative lap time. So we have Struggs. He has gone out for another lap. He's gone fastest through the first sector. As he comes through Malmedy, don't think he needs to go for another lap, but maybe just thinks, well, I won't use the tyres in the race, so get my iron. I always think it's a little bit dangerous to push too hard and crash out when there's no reason for you to be out, but Struggs is probably a lot more confident in his own skill than I am on my own skill. Keji says, more than you can afford, pal. I have no idea what that's in relation to. There's a conversation above, that's why. How did you do in Q2? More than you could. I don't know what that relates to, Keji, but so as we come through, he's done the fastest second sector as well. So Struggs is absolutely lighting it up here, lighting up the timing boards. Can he go faster than AJ? As he goes into the final sector, I think he will do. I haven't been able to catch the delta times as he's gone through each sector, but we'll watch Struggs pass the line and then focus on the battle at the back. 143.8. So I said predicted pole time 143.8, and I was starting to doubt myself. Struggs obviously comes out, turns the wick up, and sets a lap time 1 second faster than his nearest challenger, AJ Sinden. Obviously, just failing to connect with his previous lap times, and that is stunning lap times from our championship leader, showing why he has the measure of the field at the moment with a lap time like that. Chapeau. That's certainly enough. As we see Wool, he spin into La Source. Now that is... Oh, no, it's not into La Source. It's out of the bus stop, which means that he had set a lap time. It's a 154. It's an improvement. But he may have time to recharge that battery and get around again. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight to recharge. He'll turn it off, certainly, and he'll try and go again. If he has enough fuel in the car, there'll be a knackered pair of softs, but he'll be trying to set a bit more of a representative lap time. We have, in the drop zone at the moment, Joker, McLeod, Dead in the Pool, Toblerone, and Wool. Dead in the Pool and Toblerone are in the pits, so aren't going to improve on their lap times. But Alex, Trent, G, OS Degrees, I would say they're right in the bubble. Alex Trent G is also in the pit, so only Fox. Matusas has opted to stay in, which I think is probably a safe bet with cars still running. Fox is on an outlap. OS Degrees is pushing, just coming out of pit path and into Stavalo. Through the final sector, he's up 8 tenths, so this is a big improvement on his lap. Fastest middle sector by OS Degrees, very quick through the middle sector. 8 tenths quicker than his own time. This would put him up into 8th position, so that should keep him safe. We also have Joker, McLeod, Dead in the Pool on outlaps, but I don't think Dead in the Pool is going to make it round in time unless he did just get out as I was talking about him being out. So Toblerone has retired from possession. OS Degrees up into 8th place, 1 tenth in front of his teammate. Teammate still yet to set a lap. They are coming through the final sector now. We have McLeod going around the final corner. Bit squirmy as he comes out there. That will cost him a little bit of time as he starts his lap into La Source. The final moments of this Q2 session. Just 25 seconds left. 25 seconds for cars to come round and get over that start finish race. I think Den the Pool is going to be finding it very hard to get round from that back straight, tricky right-hander he is at the moment. I don't think he'll be getting it across the line. I think he's come out a little bit too late and misjudged that. Wool's also going around for one more lap. He is going to try and set a lap, but he is apparently invalidated. So I don't know if he's cut the corner, but Dead in the Pool is out of this session. Did not make it around. So the shootout is between Fox, Joker and McLeod. Alex Trent G on the bubble in the pits and hoping no one can go faster than the 146 flat. He does have 8 tenths in hand to the cars around him. But we have McLeod. He is pushing, and we'll see where he goes through this second sector, wherever he can improve. We also expect Captain Fox to improve and just move himself out of this battle. So I really see Joker and McLeod being the only two who could dislodge Alex Trent G from this, and possibly OS Degrees, but we'll have to see about that. Let's see if Alex Trent G gets moved down. Currently sitting in the pits, and fingers crossed that no one improves. So 4 tenth improvement for McLeod. Would that be enough? No, he needs to find another 4 tenths in this final sector, and it's going to be tricky to find that, but maybe he can find it through the final corner. Let's see. It's flat out through Blanchimont, the 2 left-handers, and we come to the bus stop. Can he do enough to salvage himself and pull himself into the top 10? We have Joker going quickly behind too. So where does this put him as he cuts the timing beam? It is a 1:46.2, just missing out on Q2 by 2 tenths of a second. Joker's also going quicker, 6 tenths. Bit squirmy out of that final corner. Is that enough to dislodge Alex Trent G? No, it's not. I think it's faster, but he does not improve his place. So that is our lot. We have McLeod in 11th place, Joker in 12th, Dead in the Pool in 13th, and 2 other cars, Toblerone and Wool in 14th and 15th. Alex Trent G surviving, not by the skin of his teeth, 2 tenths, but still enough. So I will again take a quick screen clip of this result, but our top 10 drivers will include Struggs, AJ, Fade, Sol, Geordie, IBN, Matusas, OS Degrees, Captain Raymond Fox, and Alex Trent G, with McLeod, Joker, Dead in the Pool, Toblerone, and Wool 123 failing to make the cut. I put Q12, but that doesn't matter. So the top 10 shootout is here for the Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix, the Belgium Grand Prix. Obviously a fantastic race course. One of the best on the circuit. I can't believe there's even any discussion about removing it. It's ludicrous that we've got to that situation, to be honest. It's legendary. It's the race that I first watched to get into Formula One. No, 1998 Belgium Grand Prix. There was two big collisions in that race. Obviously, the massive pile-up on the exit La Source as David Coulthard ploughed into the wall and every other car behind him, apart from Ralf Schumacher, who ditched it into the grass, crashed into the cars behind. And it was a massive pile-up. Somehow no one died. And Schumacher and David Coulthard later on in the race having a big ding-dong through Pouhon, I believe, or just on the exit of Pouhon. And just a magical race, and that got me into Formula One. It would be gutting to see it go, but I think it's been renewed for another year. But getting back to the on-track action, we have Fade out. We also have Struggs out first, but let's ride on board with AJ. Let's ride on board with Fade, actually, because we haven't ridden on board with the second Williams car, and I say that with no disrespect. He is second in the championship and quite not performing at Struggs' level at the moment. But, no Struggs, and he would be comfortably in the lead of this championship, Fade. Just not quite got the levels of his teammate, but these two are certainly pushing each other on within the Williams team. And the championship battle at the moment looks like it's going to be between these two. Only 13 points separate them. 85 points for Struggs. Fade is on 72 just behind. A race win could close that down by another 7 points without thinking about the fastest lap. So, he could get very, very close to taking the lead of the championship here, Fade, if he has a good race. But that requires Strux to have a bad race, and he doesn't have too many of those. I think last weekend was maybe an example of a bad race by him. And he still finished second. So, magical form from Strux in this league so far. As we see him cross the line, start his lap, he's opting to get out there really early. The two Ferraris, the line astern, they're possibly doing a bit of drafting. We'll see how that performs. They're both on out laps, as we have Matusas coming round. And we have Fade also just coming round the final corner and lining up his lap. We will see who's going to take pole, but I think based on the 1:43.8 set by Strux in qualifying 2, it would take something miraculous for that not to reoccur in this session. And I think that miraculous miracle that we'd be hoping for is Strux crushing out. And say that, I don't say we're actually hoping for, but if you actually are hoping for Strux not to be on pole, then you are asking him to minute or retire from the session, because he looks like he's imperious form to the other drivers this weekend. One of his favourite racetracks, the Belgium circuit. I know around here I've had a few battles with him, but as soon as he's ahead, he's gone. He is absolutely magical. Great through the middle sector with a very low downforce setup. He just has it absolutely dialed in around here. Let's go on board with him through the final sector. Obviously setting the fastest time so far through that middle sector in this qualifying session. Probably will be the fastest time. Let's see. He is so quick round here. Just beautiful to watch him drive. Can't believe that he's a controller player with the smoothness of his steering inputs. Has obviously learnt the rolling technique of the analog sticks. Very hard to master, but he uses it to great effect and advantage. Cuts the timing beam. Where does that put him? A 1:43.5. He's gone 3/10 quicker than his superlative time. Oh Lord, we are seeing something great today. He will be very happy with that. It's going to be hard for the cars behind to match that. A 1:44.8 for Matusas in second. Fade, he puts it into second place. Knocks Matusas just down. And 1:44 for him. AJS Inden, he is coming through the final sector. IBN, a 1:45.4 for him. And AJS Inden, where does he put his car? This looks like a fast lap time. Is it into the 1:43s? No, just a 1:44. Just a 1:44.4. I mean, way quicker than I could ever go. But 1:45 from Soul Collector, that's a very, very good time from the secondary Red Bull car. I think using a bit of tow from the car ahead. Smart teamwork from those two to try and push himself as far up the order as possible. IBN in the 1:45, and Fox is facing the wrong way at Piff Path, so he may have been on a quick lap, but he isn't now. Alex Trent G coming round the final sector. We have another spinner. I think Zoas Degrees. They've lost it on track. They'll be going straight into pits and putting on a new pair of softs, I reckon. We have Alex Trent G coming into the bus stop chicane. Right, then left. Where can he put his car? A 1:45 are we looking at? 1:45.7. So 7th position for the McLaren. Geordie has just gone onto a lap. Let's follow him. The two Red Bulls are surely coming into the pits after their spins at Piff Path and Pouon, respectively, for Fox and OS. More chat between Kevin Lou. I'm not even going to read it out. It's probably toxic as fuck between these two. Canadians, eh? Who knew they were such a miserable bunch? We all knew the Scottish were. So, fastest first sector, according to our time screens from Geordie. That, if true, is very, very good news, because Strux is superb through that first sector, but he's even better through the second sector. So he's going to have to absolutely hook his car up perfectly to be able to match that 1:43.5, 2/10 quite quicker than that I thought was maybe even too quick just a few moments ago. The cut-off time, the predicted pole time that I imagined going into this race weekend, beaten by 2/10 by Strux. He's just superb. That was a mega wide on the exit of Stavolo, but I think he's kept it within track limits somehow. We'll see where Jordan can go. Don't think it was the fastest middle sector, but he'll be hoping to knock into the 144 certainly. I mean, a 144 flat around here is sublime. Like a really, really good time. It's 4/10 off pole. That is a really, really stunning performance from Shug so far. Where is Geordie going to put his car? 142, 143, 144. It's going to be a 145 something, I think. 145.9 for McLeod. For Geordie, we know he can go a bit quicker than that. Must have had a mistake somewhere on that lap. We know he can go a bit quicker than that as we see Captain Rainbow Fox leave the pits. I think he's letting the car go by. He doesn't know that he is on a in-lap. So Fox obviously has had a little bit of an incident at Piff Path on the last time round in the second to last corner in the second sector, the right-left after Pouon and before Stavolo. Also called the Lafanya chicane, but I think I'll be calling it Piff Path this weekend. Let me shut the window so no moths get in, because I bloody hate creepy crawlies. Joker saying, almost made Q3 for the first time, but almost spinning in the last corner costed me half a sec. Yeah, it looked like it did. Purple middle sector though. That's good, Joker. Nice one. Shots fired by the race director. Thanks, guys. Rest in pieces. So, Fox is on an outlap. He has invalidated his outlap, but he won't care about that. I believe he invalidated it going at Eau Rouge. Easy to cut that corner when you're not paying attention or don't care. So, can he put the Scarlet Ferrari higher up the grid? We have most of our cars in the pits, only with Tutas on the outlap. Geordie on an in-lap. He will have probably time to put it... Ooh, it's going to be tight to get in and out. It's going to be tight. He will push as hard as he can to get in and out, I reckon. He will certainly know he can go faster than that. Maybe should have bailed on that lap knowing it was so slow. But he will see if we can get him out in time. We have a few more cars leaving the pits. AJS Inden in third position at the moment. He is leaving the pits. But we will, of course, follow the progress of Captain Rainbow Fox around this 7-kilometre track, the longest in terms of length on the calendar. Only 44 laps this weekend because of that. I think a 305-kilometre plus 1 lap rule in effect for every track except for Monaco. And we have Captain Rainbow Fox flinging it into Eau Rouge left, then right. These cars really suck through here. And I mean that in a good way. The ground effect pulls them into the floor. And that gives you a lot of traction and makes it an easier corner than in previous F1 games. Pushing all the way just before the 50-metre marker, using up a bit of that right curve. Not as dangerous in this game as it was last year's. And using up as maximum amount of that curve, but running right through there. Still not an invalidation, because I don't think he gained any time through there. But certainly running a wider line through Bruxelles. Through the speaker's corner, trying to use as much curbing as possible without getting invalidated, and through Pouon, little bit of a lift down 2 gears, which is unusual because I've seen other cars go down to only 7th. This will be his one attempt at a flying lap through Piff Path, bit wide on the entry of the right, then the left, and then we come to Stavolo. Tricky braking sector here. Pick your marks and try to light up this throttle as early as possible. Little bit of a lift through this next sector of corners, and he tries to maximise his speed all the way down this back straight. Blomscher on 1 and 2, dealt with nicely. Where will this put him? He'll be hoping top 5 is in order. Can he break the 144s? Bit of too much rotation through the first part of that corner, but it looks good. I think the 145 something is on here, but the 144 isn't. 6th position for the car of... I think Geordie's gone round and set another lap time. I think he stayed out on the same pair of tyres, thinking he's not getting one in. So where can he go? Does he improve his time? He does marginally improve his time, but I think the better option was to pit there. 50 seconds in and out, I think that's possible. But we'll see. OS Degrees, he is coming over to set a lap time. 145 goes ahead of his teammate, knocks Captain Rainbow Fox down into 7th as OS Degrees takes 6th position. We have cars on a lap. What Struggs is going through the source. Who else is on the lap? Fade. AJS Inden must be coming up. A bit of desync there as he gets to the speaker's corner. And Soul Collector just behind. I think he's out of the tow though, so won't be getting his tow off his car, his sister car in front. As he goes through this left-hander of Pouon. Mitusas also just starting a lap time now. So we'll go on board with AJ and IBN. Yep, he's a bit further back. So we'll go on board with AJ. I think he'll be the next of the fast cars to set a lap time. He's 4 tenths up on his fastest lap, so I don't think he's improving. I think he's backing off to give his teammate as much of a tow as possible through Blanchimont. Is this going to give Soul Collector any kind of improvement? We will see. He's fallen quite far behind AJ during this lap, and I don't think that gave him any kind of tow, but the thought was there. Soul Collector comes into the final corner, overshoots it very slightly. That compromises his turn through the final corner, and where does this put him? I don't think it's going to be an improvement. It is a very slight improvement, but does not improve his place. We have Fade coming through Blanchimont now. He's invalidated his lap. Struggs, is he going any quicker? We will see if he has enough time there, trying to minimise the run through this sector as you curve right, then left through Blanchimont and come to the bus stop. Where can this put him? Will it improve his time? Fade obviously not setting a faster lap time due to an invalidation on that lap. Where will this go for the championship leader? Does he improve his time? He doesn't. He backs off. So maybe feeling that time was invalidated and he should have invalidated that time, he backs out of that lap. And we have IBN. Where does that go? He goes 1:45.4. So Matusas is the only car out there that can improve. I tell a lie. Alex Trent G could also improve behind him. Matusas stays the same position, I believe. Alex Trent G through the final corner. Where does he go? Up to 5th place, knocking Soul Collector down. OS Degrees into 7th and Captain Rainbow Fox into 8th. I think that is our running. I don't think Geordie has enough fuel to get back to the pits. Looks like he has run out of fuel there. He is cruising, absolutely cruising. So congratulations to Struggs. Not on pole last weekend, but he's back on pole, and it's another Williams front row knockout. It's the 4th one of the season. Who is going to come on and improve their qualifying pace? And we certainly see AJ come forwards, but still not quite knocking on the door of those Williams boys. 4 tenths down on the 2nd place car of Fade, and nearly a second down on Struggs. He is going to be very, very hard to beat this weekend. You have to put your money on him winning his race. It'll be a battle for second, not a battle for first, I reckon. No disrespect to our runners this weekend, but Struggs certainly has a serious amount of time as we watch Geordie be wheeled into pits. And then I believe this session will end, and I will clip the results of this session. A ready up will be posted by AJ, I believe. Has he posted a ready up rule yet? Not quite yet, but it will be posted soon. It does, yes. So 2 minutes past 9 will be race start. So do not ready up. The race will start at 9:02. Do not ready up. He's put it in there twice for good measure. Good on him. We have the top 10 there. Struggs, fantastic performance from him. 1:43.5. 1:44 from his teammate Fade. 5 tenths behind his teammate. That just shows you the absolute class of Struggs this weekend in this qualifying session. Let's see if he can take that form into the race. AJ Sinden in 3rd. Matusas, our Portuguese Alpine driver, he is in 4th. Alex Trent G, good performance from him here in the McLaren. Soul Collector, great performance from him in the Red Bull. Really working well with AJ to maximise the tow on his fast lap. OS Degree in 7th. Fox in 8th. IBN in 9th. And Geordie, I think he'll be a bit disappointed with that time. Certainly could have gone 1:45 up to 7th place maybe. He is in 10th position for the race. I'll go a bit quiet now while I clip. So remember, everyone, do not ready up. I'm just going to take a very quick break from the booth, and I will be back for the race pre-chat in just a minute. So, hello everyone, back from the break. So, 3 minutes until race start time to actually make that 2 minutes. We have the two Williams cars. They'll be dictating the pace. Hopefully, people will take it slow as I almost trip over and die on my racing wheel, which is annoyingly behind me. Normally, I have it tucked in over there, but making use of a small setup in here. Okay. So, let's read the comments in chat. There's no more comments in chat. So, loving the engagement in my channel. That sounded so passive aggressive. I apologize. You don't have to write messages. Let's see if anything's been said in the Discord so far. In the Discord, nothing in league discussion. I think people just having a quiet session. Maybe a clip in league review between lost out on quali since 80 and Aston was sitting and blocking the lane. Skull the ball. 80 and Aston. Right. Okay, that looks a very unfortunate incident. I think Skull Ball got a bit of a bullshit penalty there. I think Lou was trying to give places back out of that corner, but he was on the inside anyway, so shouldn't have been doing that. That's a shame for Skull and Lou Vest. That's why they did not advance further in the session. But starting from the back probably is the worst thing in the world, Skull, as you know from last weekend. Race-wise, this session we have a cloudy start and a sunny end, so no need for wet weather tyres. Let's have a quick think about strategies. So softs, I think I get about 10 laps around here, maybe a little bit less. Mediums, 15 to 20 laps, and hards, 10 to 25 laps. 44 laps in total, and a safety car prediction of medium. So a medium risk, hopefully a few VSCs this weekend, because the safety cars really hurt around here. Obviously, the longest lap time of the circuit, and it's about nearly a 3-minute lap under safety car. So that could be quite slow and painful. In the SRL-100 practice race on Friday, I think we only had 1 lap of DOS running because of the amount of safety cars. So that was horrendous. We have a correct start time in 20 seconds. It is 21:02. Round 5 is about to commence at Belgium. We will take us through the drivers, what they're starting on. If I say they're going aggressive, that means they're on the softs. If I say they're going conservative in the long, that means they're going on the hards. I think the medium will be the optimal race start tyre here. Mediums to hards, I reckon that some people will flip that and do a hard to medium. Let's have a quick look through the spectator menu. Let's enable interval, detail, tyre and telemetry enable. Let's disable that and lap data enabled. Right, okay, so very few cars starting softs. So a lot of cars starting hard. So going along, Struggs in first position and his teammate Fade on the hard tyre. They'll be hoping to get that slower hard tyre out the way in the first stint. AJS Indon, he's on a pair of mediums. Just behind the Williams boys, he'll have better traction from the off. We're hoping that the glitch of tyre warmth has gone, but we have had Mr. Borbagoy and Fence both disqualified from the formation lap. They'll have cold tyres at the end of this. Matusas in 4th place, the Alpine. Let's see how he can do in the race. He's on the pair of hard tyres. Alex Trent G, good qualifying session from him. He'll be hoping to maintain that position through the race. That'd be a great result for him. Hard tyres he is on. Soul Collector, good for qualifying again from Soul Collector. He's been really unlucky this year so far to score as many points as he has because his pace has not been kind of represented on track through collision he's been involved with. Not always his fault. Very rarely at cracks. OS Degrees, he's built up a bit of a run of consistency here. 7th place is a bit further up the grid than he's qualified recently. So I think he'll be happy with that. He'll be knowing that he needs to go long in this race for a chance of victory or a podium. Captain Mayor Fox in 8th place. He's on the hards like his Scarlet Ferrari teammate just in front. IBN, 9th position. Geordie in the McLaren. First weekend in the McLaren. How can he perform in his new team? The full-time seat is his McLeod. In the Mercedes, often one to watch in the later stages of the race. He's quite consistent, McLeod. Joker as well. Very, very consistent. Hard to get a penalty for him. Dead in the pool. His first race, I believe, in the championship. Good luck to him in the Aston Martin, filling in for Rugriff. Although I must say he's got the shocking Koi helmet on, so minus points for that immediately. Toblerone, he is in 14th position. I think he'll be happy with his qualifying position, hoping to go long and pick up points from instants ahead. 1-1-2-3 in the Haas, his first weekend back from illness. We hope to see a good result from him as he has a massive desync on that straight. I hope that's me and not him. Chong, he is in 18th position in the medium tyres. Louis Vest, he's in 19th, and Scullable 20. I missed the disqualified cars of Kev. He is on a pair of hards, and 17th for Fence, our driver of the day, not diver of the day. Although that could be a new one we pull in if we start seeing diving happening in this league. He is driver of the day last weekend, and he's starting on the softs. He'll be looking to go through the pack again this weekend. Let's ride on board with the cars ahead and quickly go to position changed as our graphic. It's saying Wool is on pole, but he isn't. Strugs, 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and the SRL goes racing. The Syndicate Racing League goes racing at Belgium. Down into the first corner. Let's follow on with Fade. Is there room left? Oh, almost contact behind. Are all the cars through safely? It's hard to tell from here. It looks like they're all fairly safely through to turn 1. Congratulations to the pack for that. I think there may be a small incident at the back between Louis Vest and McLeod that has actually gone through, but not too calamitous. We have AGS Inden really close behind Fade. He's going to try and go around the outside at Lecombe. Has he got enough pace to do it? Looking board on right. It's going to be really tricky to go around the outside there. Similar to Alonso and Hamilton in real life, they leave each other space though, and Fade just creeps ahead. Good battling. Soul Collector's got up 2 positions. Medusa's down 1 and Fox up 2. I think there's been a bit of an incident there. We see a spinning car in the mid-pack. Cars travelling down. Dead in the pool has gone down. Fox has been done by his teammate OS Degrees there as well. They won't want to battle too hard. They'll lose time to the cars ahead. And AGS Inden still over the back of Fade, trying to get ahead. He got done a bit into Lecombe as they come into Pouon. He's just 5/10 behind him, but he'll want to be all over him. He has the better tyre compound. Of course, the medium tyre. There is a full course yellow out. It's just a virtual safety car. So he'll be all over the back of him. So a few incidents, I must say, through the back there. We have IBN and Dead in the Pool possibly making contact. They have gone quite far down there. McLeod, he's also had a contact with Louis Vest. That looks difficult. Ignoring yellow flags for Wool. A penalty there, and Kev is moving far down the back. He is in the gravel trap of 5th path, but we have racing resumed as we go through, and we have AGS Inden battling all the way through Blanchimont. Will he try to stick it up the inside or around the outside at the bus stop chicane? What can he do? I think he backs away from that one. Knows that is a difficult position to overtake if you've not already got a wheel alongside, but this better compounded tyre is certainly working for AJ in the early stages. Tries to go around the outside on the source. Let's see if he can get this done. He'll be wanting to charge up and catch up with Strugs as quickly as possible. He covers off the inside nicely. Can he get the undercut? Slightly better. This is going to be tricky. I think Fade has backed off, knowing that there's no way he wants to go too wide through Eau Rouge. Can he go attack him into the Kemmel straight? A bit wide from Fade there. That may leave him open to attack from the Red Bull behind of Soul Collector. It certainly does. Soul Collector closing up. Can he make this move up the inside where his teammate couldn't make it last time around? I think Fade will try to hang it around the outside, and he does a little bit of contact from those two mid-corner, but not too much between those two. Fade doing excellent through that corner, around the inside and on the outside against Red Bulls on two Red Bulls on lap 1 and lap 2. So OS Degrees is only just behind these two as well. OS Degrees will be wanting to go forward. Scolder Bull up 10th positions, really lost out in qualifying due to being blocked in the pit lane. And he is already up 10 positions. Wonderful start from Skull. Chonk is up 6 positions as well. Those two are elbows out drivers, so they are aggressive and making it work. Fade is down and losing a bit of time to AGS Inden, but Strugs already has a 2-second gap as he comes through the second sector split. Sets the fastest second sector time, which is predictable, to be honest. AJS goes even faster. Can AJ do enough to close down these final sectors? I think AJ's middle sector is rapid through here. Let's see. Fade is now under pressure from the other Red Bull car of Soul Collector. Car number 45 on car 15. Can Soul Collector get through? He'll be wanting to not lose too much time to his teammate so they can work together and DRS off one another to catch up with Scruggs. Where can he put his car? He doesn't choose to go for an overtake here, but we will have DRS on this lap. So Fade is just outside of DRS activation from AGS Inden. Let's have a look at the telemetries to understand how they're doing both have similar levels of ERS here. So DRS will become active in 50 meters. Here we are. Is he going to have enough closing speed? It doesn't look like he's closing on the moment, but the closing speed is bigger. It will be a bit of a move to make it here, but he does. He shoves it up the inside. Can he get it stopped in time? He can. The two Red Bulls are up into second and third position. Soul Collector in third. Lovely move from him. He started sixth on the grid and is up to third. OS Degrees will be looking at Fade next, licking his lips, knowing that he's suffered on those hard tyres. But OS Degrees is also on the hard tyres and really making those work. So a good opening stint from OS Degrees. Looks like Captain Rainbow Fox has lost out to Matusas along the line. But Alex Trent G is on the back of him now. So looks like Fox is travelling backwards on the hard tyre. I think opting to get that harder stint out of the way early doors. So he could maybe switch onto a medium later on, capitalise on any safety car that happens. Only a VSC activated so far. Very clean through the source. Very minor incident through there. Fence and Wool, they are both out of the race. I'm not sure what's happened there. I must have missed that, but Fence and Wool are out of the race. So we have AJS Inden struggling to keep up with Struggs. He is just under 2 seconds behind, but OS Degrees is now licking his lips at the chance of taking Fade. I think Fade running very, very wide there. No penalties for any of our 20 runners, 18 remaining at this stage of the race. Not too hard on penalties, I don't think. Overreach is a bit difficult. There's a spinning Louis Rivest through P1. Looks like he's just spun through there. Maybe he has a bit of damage on the car, struggling to have downforce. And we will see if... Does Fade have DRS? I don't think Dave has a DRS. So falling back from that battling Williams, they're battling Red Bull. I think this is going to be difficult. Fade having a bit of a trouble through the Radion corner, really struggling. I think OS Degrees is there close. Soul Collector actually threw one inside. I think Fade has learnt his lesson and said, I'm going to defend that inside if people are going to throw it in like that. I don't think Fade believed that Soul Collector was going to throw it in, but did an absolutely superb job of making the overtake count. We have Louis Vest. He is in bits at Pith Path, in danger of getting lapped already, and that is not good with such a long lap. He's on a pair of softs, and I think they're just too hot at the moment. He's going to struggle with this corner as well. Has to really ease himself off it. Obviously, carrying a heavy fuel load at the moment. But let's look through the pack. We have Struggs in first place, AJ Inden in second, and Soul in third. Where else are there close battles? Of course, Geordie has just got in front of his teammate Alex Trent G around P1. You'd have to think that was somewhat orchestrated between the two drivers. Skull the ball into 10th. He's now battling with Alex, actually. So maybe he's had a problem, and Alex has spun off. Through there, so riding on Boulder still there. Didn't look like there was any kind of contact. Looks like Alex has just binned it at Pith Path. He'll fall down the order behind Dead in the Pool. And we'll go over the race line. And as we go over the race line, we will call out the order at the end of lap 4 as they go on to lap 5. Struggs is 3 seconds in front of AJS Inden, building a good lead on those hards. AJS Inden is in second place, done well to take Fade. Soul Collector in third, already going up 3 positions. Fade in fourth. He has fallen backwards on those hard tyres. OS Degrees has fallen a bit further back from Fade over these last couple of laps. Matusas only 4 tenths behind OS Degrees now. He'll certainly think about an overtake. Captain Rainbow Fox in 7th position. Geordie in 8th. Skull the Bull in 9th. And Chonk in 10th. So let's go on board with Matusas, who will have DRS and a chance at getting in front of his rival in the championship. As he goes to the outside, I think this is going to be done by La Source. Oh no, OS Degrees tries to stick it up the inside. Has he got it done though? I think he has got it done. Matusas loses it slightly on the exit of the come. That allows OS to sneak back in the inside at Malmedy. And as they go to revive, as they started the lap between those two, Captain Rainbow Fox has not only had a penalty, but I think he's had a spin at Eau Rouge 2 to add insult to injury. So if that penalty was part of that spin, remember to take shots of the instance and pits and submit your clip if that affects your race, Fox, if that's the same thing as your spin. Wool says he's absolutely raging about what has just transpired. Let us know what's happened, pal. I'm not sure. Missed that incident on board. Let us know what happened. We have McLeod, I think, going slowly at Speaker's Corner. We have also IBN, who has spun and just about keeps it out of the barrier. He's trying to stay out of the way. I think staying out of the way for way too long a time with Kev. I think he can rejoin. I think IBN way too slow, way too hesitant to let people by there. But we have Strugs. He's lost half a tenth on that lap to AJ. But we have Matusas 3 tenths behind OS Degrees. Can you get the job done this time around? He got the job done up the Camel Straight and at Lacombe. And he just had a little bit of traction loss through there. And that cost him. So we'll follow him all the way up this straight. These two are absolutely battling. Has OS Degrees got enough in the tank this lap to keep the battling Alpine behind? Obviously, Matusas has fallen down a little bit from his starting position. OS Degrees has gone the other way, gone upwards. Can he keep him behind? What's the closing speed like? I think there isn't a close enough gap between these two on this lap. Is there any other close drivers here? Alex Trent G looking to come back through the pack here. And will he get dead in the pool? Dead in the pool goes defensive very early. Can he get it done around the outside? Alakum, he absolutely tries to. They battle too wide. And I think Dead in the pool has maintained that position. IBN was tired from the race, so maybe some damage from him. Let's have a look at what also. So, game completely glitched to fuck. Formation lap kept pulling me off track and ended up back of the pack for the start. There were no lights at all on screen for the start. Then lost wing after an unsafe rejoin from Chonk, which I clapped, but I hasn't saved either. Then was glitched inside of Kev and gave me an illegal overtake. Then glitched on pit entry to receive terminal damage. Brilliant return to racing. Absolutely gutting. Sit for this time for that to happen. Yeah, so that sounds awful, man. So the rejoin may have been McLeod actually. So that sounds bad. It sounds like your game was really messed up, pal. That's not what you wanted for your return to racing. Sorry to hear about that, dude. If you recover any of those clips, obviously get them posted in the league instant review. We have a retired IBN from the race. I think suffering from damage, he put it into the pits. And we have cars passing each other in the midfield. Let's see. Dead in the pool and Joker battling. I think Joker is under pressure from Dead in the pool here. Let's see if he's got enough. OS Degrees is ahead of Soul. So Soul must have fallen behind here, right? OS Degrees has got ahead of Soul on that lap. So I've missed that, reading out that message. But good result for him. Soul Collector is only 5 tenths behind and pulling out. I don't think he'll be able to make a move here. I also think someone else has gone backwards. Who was battling? Matusas was battling OS Degrees very recently, and he has fallen backwards. So maybe a spin for him too. We have Denton Paul only a couple of attempts behind Joker, trying to get ahead, but can't quite get ahead. Alex Trent G trying to pick up the spoils where he can. Let's have a quick look at this. I don't think anyone has made a change of position there. Certainly a big battle for 11th place here, with 10th place just up ahead. At the front, Struggs is keeping AJ at arm's length at about 3 tenths, probably managing his tyres a bit, but Struggs has used up quite a bit of EOS over his second place rival, so this isn't over by a long shot. Soul Collector, 3 tenths behind OS Degrees. I think he's been ordered back, almost getting absolutely collected by the wall, or collecting the wall himself. As Geordie gets by, he'll try to fight and stay in the tail of OS Degrees. OS Degrees will try to keep Geordie behind. I think Struggs was just trying to set a fast lap there. That's why he spent so much of his EOS. 3.5 seconds is the difference. There is a DNF of Captain Vaporfox at the exit there, and that will be the first safety car of the night. Captain Vaporfox has spun at the exit of the Paul Ferrer, Comblin Paul Ferrer. That's turn 16, just after Stavelo. That is a very tricky corner. We always saw Soul Collector bin it into the wall around there and lose position to Geordie. That will be a bit of a kind of combining the pack, and let's see how that will shake things up. We'll see who pits as well. I think there has been a Denton Paul. He's opted to go into pit lane already. He's changing his tyres, and he's gone on to a pair of let's have a look at the tyre he's on. He's gone to a pair of Hods. 0 laps. Let's see if anyone else decides to pit. McLeod hasn't pitted, but hasn't gained a place there. I think that will come as a breath of fresh air for Lou, who's on a pair of softs, so he could ditch those. Ooh, I don't think Lou should ditch them. Lou, if you're listening, do not ditch those tyres. Not until you've gone around at least one time, because you are going to get lapped if you pit. That's me looking out for my old teammate there. Lou, don't pit. Lou, don't pit. Lou, don't pit. If you pit, you are getting lapped, mate. You are getting lapped, and you don't want to do that. I know you'll not be on the optimum tyre, but that 50-second race time will be a lot more beneficial than a new set of tyres. Let's see if he does pit. Mr. Ballbaggery has pit and gone to a pair of hards. Don't think that's his first. No, Lou's pitting. Lou's pitting. No, that is such a bad idea, dude. Oh, dude, you're gonna get lapped. You're gonna get lapped, pal. That's your race over. Good night. Unless, I think that's our race over, mate. Look at this. Let's see how quick this pit stop is. This is absolutely crucial for Lou's race. Can he get out ahead? Maybe he has got out ahead. Maybe I was doomslaying for no reason. I don't think anyone's gone into pits at the front. Actually, maybe one car. Maybe Fade has gone into the pits. Should decide to do something different. He's certainly backed away from AJ. Yeah, so Lou has got out in front of Struggs, defying everything there, but he will take a long time to rejoin the pack, so expect a 2 or 3 lap safety car period here. No need to apologise for the rant. Well, we all have really, really frustrating races. Sucks that you qualify so well and you're out so early. Hopefully next... I don't know, the game's just a pile of shit, mate. I don't know what else to say. Sounds like you got shafted by other drivers and shafted by your install, so that sucks. So we have a very few cars actually opting to pit, fewer than I thought there would be. Denton Pool's pitted, Kev has pitted, and Louis has pitted. I guess Lou has buggled to lose by pitting. They've gone to a pair of hards. He can't run to the end on those hards, but he can certainly gain a lot of time. It's going to be a long safety car period. Certainly not this lap. It won't come in. I doubt it will come in the next lap either. Chonk and Twitch. I was Alonso'd at Lacombe by Ben, I think. If Alonso'd means the what the Hamilton Alonso incident happened today, that was 100% Hamilton's fault. So if you're putting yourself in Hamilton's position, then you're saying you're taking fault for that incident there, Chonk. Hamilton literally shut the door on a car that was there. It was rookie driving for Hamilton. You could tell as well because he didn't take his helmet off after the incident. He was just walking back with his helmet on. That's the surefire way of seeing if the driver knows it's their mistake or not. So, so lap 9, coming up to quarter race distance. That'll be at lap 11. We're just watching Louis Vest rejoin the pack. Actually, let's ride on board with the cars up front. Make sure there's not much shenanigans there. AJS Inden just behind Struggs. He'll be happy that with this reset, he'll try to stay in the DRS of Struggs. Struggs will obviously try and break away from it. This is a dangerous time for the Struggs session, but does bunch up the field rather nicely. We'll start to see the natural field spread creep in. Oh! Frantic opening laps at Spa. Some really good racing, some not so good racing. I'm sure will be highlighted in the instance. Chonk says I was on the inside, so he got Alonso. So you're saying you got Hamilton? Chonk, did you get Hamilton? Let's just say that. League discussion. Anything going on here? Some complaints from Wool that we've already heard. Chonk apologising to Wool. Look, the IBN taking ownership for the incident at turn 4. Is it turn? No, it's turn 7. Lacombe, the right-hander, left-hander. Then it turns into Malmedy, in my opinion. So we'll have at least one more lap on the safety car, I reckon. Louis Vest is not catching up on this lap, even at flat out. He was quite a long way back. Hopefully not too many safety cars tonight. Took 9 laps for the first one to come out, which is pretty good going. About a medium list of safety cars around here. I think crashes at the place where Captain Fox has crashed out are very, very typical of bring out safety cars, because the way you crash is you end up going over that bump on the left-hand side, spinning, hitting the inside right wall, and your car is ejected back onto the racing line at a blind corner. The safety car is absolutely the right thing to do and bring out. But that's one corner where safety cars are often brought out. Maybe an incident at the top of Eau Rouge as well, more likely to be a VSC, and incidents at Pouen are often a VSC because they run it off the track. We have the Aston Martin racing car today. Obviously, it was actually the Mercedes racing car in real life, so good to see that they're mimicking real life safety cars perfectly. I sound really down on this game today. It's actually a pretty good racing game, despite what a lot of the haters say. I think the career mode's apparently got a bit downhill, but as I've done zero career mode, that has not affected me at all. I think the online racing has improved in this game, is my belief, over the last one. Only marginally. A sprint racer, a nice addition, obviously. Possibly it from the guest feature side of things. I think the formation lap thing is a bit better. Turning is almost pointless at this point because he just hit a button. But I think it's generally better, the online racing. I think the cars are just nice to race. Not really improvements with the F1 game, more improvements with the real life cars. But obviously how they're emulated is better for racing. So AJ, he is in second position. Let's have a look at the big gainers and losers through the opening period of the race. Position change, Chonk up 11 positions. He is in 7th position. Skull, he started absolutely plumb last. He's also followed Chonk up the order in 8th position. We have Geordie, he has run well. Started 10th, now in 5th. And Alex G and Matusas, you have to say they're the big losers thus far. Louis Vest, I would say, is a big winner, but he's still right at the back. So I don't know how quick he's been, but he has caught up with the pack. Praise the Lord. He has caught up with the pack. So we should see the safety car return to the pits at the end of this lap, and we will resume racing. We will go on board with the car of struggles, and let's change that back to, let's have a quick look at penalties as well, just before we start racing. Chonk has a 3-second penalty, Toblerone has a 3-second penalty, and Joke has a 3-second penalty. Surprising for Joke to have a penalty so early on. He's usually one of the cleanest drivers when it comes to penalties. He'll be frustrated with that, but a long way to go, obviously. Don't expect to see that many runners with penalties this weekend, to be honest. It's not too difficult with penalties around here. I think Eau Rouge, you can sometimes trip over yourself. I honestly think that's it. Maybe running right out of Stavolo. And being overzealous, maybe through the bus stop. But, right, okay, we should see the safety car come in here. If it does, he'll want to all the way to the right side because it limits really nastily around here. Wall has left his session. He is retired from the race, so that is not going to cause any problems. I absolutely detest the slow running vum, 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 vum noise. So that's audio issues within the game. I apologise for that. I'm just riding on board with Strugs to determine if there's one clear resume of racing, which there actually wasn't in the race today. Sainz sped up before the bus stop and then kind of went deep, so slowed down the pack again. That was a bit naughty in my opinion. Should have maybe got a penalty for that. But we'll see. If there's one clear resumption of racing, looks like there is. They come through the final corner and he hasn't gone. He goes on it now. OS Degrees gets a very annoying corner cutting penalty there, and AJ fails to capitalise on that restart. 1.2 seconds down. OS Degrees tries to go up the inside of Fade despite getting that penalty. Let's see if he can get it done into Eau Rouge. Someone's going to have to back out here. Someone's going to have to lift the outside. You reckon Fade should lift, but he doesn't. He doesn't, but he runs very wide. He runs very wide, and that cost him a lot of time there. I think would have been sensible for Fade to lift out of that one, but decides that he deserved the corner. Can he make it back up to Lacombe? He's run wide, obviously, so should not be going for an overtaking at this stage as he left the track. Soul Collector is in front of Geordie. HS Inden absolutely gapped by Scruggs. A magical restart there for him. that has created the DRS gap right there. AJ will do everything within his power to get back into that DRS gap. Now, this middle sector is where you expect AJ to regain some of his time. He has set up for that middle sector, but that will make overtaking incredibly difficult. I think AJ would be very happy with the second position he's in now, but it's a long way to go, and a lot of runners behind him, including OS Degrees, are on those harder compound tyres. So AJ will have a disadvantage in the later stages of the race. Let's see who's close behind. What a great way to say that. Joker is just 4 tenths behind Toblerone. Toblerone backing off already and losing it onto pit path. Toblerone loses it through pit path. That allows Alex Trent G. That allows the whole field through. He falls to the back of the grid there, and I think tries to rejoin in a safe manner and just about keeps it pointing in the right direction through there. OS Degrees only 7 tenths down on AJS Inden, and struggles to use a bit more EOS to try and pull that gap. Very important, he feels, at this stage of the race to not get involved in the battle with the cars behind. OS Degrees running great pace around here. He's been fantastic so far. Mugged Fade on the restart, passing him into Eau Rouge. Fade failed to back out of that one, and that cost him even more time through Lecumbe, up to Lecumbe even. And he's just 7 tenths behind Fade. So can he try and exact some kind of revenge on this following lap, lap 13 of the Belgium Grand Prix? This is the Syndicate Racing League 100% league tier. If this is the first time you're watching, we stream every Sunday night. And OS Degrees moves to the right, tried to break the toe a little bit, and I think OS Degrees just falling behind from AJ there on that lap. OS Degrees has used a lot of EOS, let's say, so AJ's falling behind Struggs, and Fade is now wanting to get past OS Degrees as quickly as possible after he lost that position on the restart of the race. So, looking through the mid-pack, Geordie very close to Chonk. Chonk has that 3-second penalty. Let's have a look at the different tyres that they are running. I just turned the wrong thing off, toe tyre. So, Geordie on a pair of mediums, so it's Chonk, 12-lap old mediums. Basically, all the cars in the top 10. Geordie, we're following Toblerone last time, and he did that, and now Geordie's done that. That will be a bit of wing damage to boot as well. He'll be very difficult with that. Scully Paul picks up a 3-second time penalty, running wide through Stabilo, presumably from the position of his car as we went on board. Chonk is now 5 tenths behind Sol. Sol 9 tenths behind Fade. Fade 4 tenths behind OS. OS becoming a bit of a cork in the bottle. We have Toblerone. He span at the exit of Pith Path. Second lap in a row where he spun there. OS Degrees. We have sectors 2, 3 having a yellow flag. That yellow flag has gone away. Thank goodness for that. And we have presumably a DRS pass coming up here as OS Degrees really struggles to keep up with the cars ahead. Becomes a bit of a cork in the bottle. Fade will be hoping to get by as soon as possible, but DRS will be provided to cars behind, so if he makes any kind of mistake, he will be liable. Oh, we see a massive crash from Chonk into the barriers at the top of Radion. That is, of course, a safety car. Of course, a safety car. Does that position get done before the yellow flags come out? I think it has. I don't see Fade giving that place back. That seemed like a real tight one. I think OS Degrees may be going past him again there, but taking that position back, maybe? No, I think he wanted that position back, but did not actually get given it. Chonk has... I don't want to say chunked it. That was a really huge incident into the exit of Radion. Went flying in, spearing in, and that's the end of his race. Very big incident, and we did see the car come out far enough onto the racing line that a full safety car has been deemed warranted. Will we see anyone take advantage of the secondary safety car? If they do, then Lou, Denver Paul, and Kev are quids in. A long safety car session last time out, but as it's only Toblerone who seems to have fallen too far behind, we shouldn't see too much of a safety car period here. Maybe just a couple of laps with this long 3 minutes lap required for pulling in the safety car. That is a huge incident, Chonk. Let us know what happened, Pav. Yeah, we did see a drive-through penalty for Skull the Ball. That must be a Delta-related one. So, any cars coming to pits? We do see a few cars going to pits there. AJS Inden being one of them from second place. He's decided to get his pit stop out the way. Not necessarily a bad call here because we don't see even the Williams cars pits. So, not necessarily a bad call there because if there is another safety car soon, then yeah, that's their lap's done. So, Scholar Ball is up to third position after that safety car period. A few cars pitting there. I think OS Degrees being one of them. Soul Collector, I think, is also pitted. AJS Inden pitted. Matusas hasn't pitted. Alex Trent G hasn't pitted either. Let's change this to stop so we can have a quick look at that. So AJS Inden's first of stoppers. Louis Vest absolutely making bank in terms of positions under that safety car because he took advantage of the stop at the previous safety car, a move that I was very worried about, that he'd lose the lead lap. But because he didn't lose the lead lap, he's now up into 9th position. The scoring place of 9th position. That's 2 points if he finishes there. Obviously, a hell of a long way to go in this race. But he has capitalised on that massively. Let's see if he can rebuild his race from here. Obviously, a bit older tyres compared to some of the cars that have stopped behind him. Ken also in that situation of capitalising from it. And I think Den the Pool has possibly stopped again. He's gone onto a pair of softs, so he's going to go aggressive for the next few laps, see where that will take him. And yeah, interesting strategy from Den in the Pool there. I think he possibly could have made up a couple of places on the likes of Soul Collector and OS Degrees. Geordie, I think, did Geordie just fall behind? Oh, Geordie's also gone onto a pair of soft tyres. Probably worth switching the detail over to tyres so we can see where they are. So, OS Degrees on a pair of softs, Geordie on a pair of softs, Den the Pool on a pair of softs. So OS Degrees thinking, well, the mediums, they won't get to the end. He's starting with a pair of hards. So my best option is a pair of softs at the moment. See if he can capitalise on some quick pace on those softs. They go off quite quickly compared to the other tyres. We're lap 15 and we will have one more lap of safety car. Presumably, the Aston Martin gets to lead the race. Shame it's just a safety car. So, it's a good strategy from AJ. I reckon. Go on the hards. I think those could get to the end. What have I predicted here? So 20 to 25 laps to get to the end. So that would be nearly 30 laps. So he'd be pushing them a little bit. But it would leave Struggs and Fade having to pit for a pair of mediums. And if there's no more safety cars at the end of the race, and who knows? We do have 15 runners. But, there's plenty of kind of capital for a instance, to be honest, with 4 soft runners at the back of the grid coming through, trying to take places. If that doesn't cause incident, then they'll start to drop off. That will cause incident, certainly. So there's still a lot of capital for safety cars in this race, but who knows? This could be the final safety car period of the race. If that occurs, AJS Inden has done his stop. It's about a 20-second loss under normal racing conditions in this race. So that's 20 seconds that Struggs and Fade have to make up on route to medium tyres. Is it doable? Yes, but the pressure goes on Struggs and Fade. AJS Inden just has to hit a metronomic kind of lap time. Measure that gap. If Struggs makes a mistake, Fade makes a mistake, that extends a little bit. That gives you more breathing room. You can hit a lower and lower delta lap. So a good move from AJS Inden. Stole the ball, I think, thinking, well, my plan is to go long on these hards that I started on, so I will stay going long. Obviously started from the back of the grid for the second week in a row. Obviously last week was because of a qualifying ban. This week was because of a incident in the pit lane where he was unable to leave. He was blocked effectively and he got disqualified for blocking. So that's a shit ton of events, but he's up into third position. Drove well so far. And let's see, he's had a few battles with the Williams this year. I'm sure he'll be looking to have a clean battle, really, really focused on improving some of his racecraft for sure. And let's go on board with Struggs and see if he has one clean return to racing. Fade is on a pair of hards. Yeah, he's starting hards. Forget about it. So let's look at this. Does he return to racing? One clear resume. He certainly does. A good restart from Struggs. Again, gaps his teammate Skull the Bull also far behind. Matusas only 4 tenths behind Skull the Bull. He'll be looking to go forward. Let's have a look at those runners who have battled through. Joker is just in front of AJ. Will AJ be looking to take Joker up to Lecombe? We have a gained position for Soul Collector already on Bob Aggery. And just lifting there, they're trying to turn those hard tyres on. Are quite difficult to turn on, but he has a tyre advantage and looks like he has a speed advantage. Tries to use a bit of EOS to get this move on Joker done. Does he try and get it done? He goes to the inside. And is Joker going to leave him in the room? He's not really battling him. No, he tries to hang it up the inside. Fair dues to Joker. Lovely bit of racing between the two. Stalwarts of the league. They've been here since day one, and they've shown it with that racecraft. Beautiful move by AJ. All done on the braking, and Joker did everything to keep him behind on those much older set of tyres. Louis Vest has gained a position on... yes, he's gained a position on Soul. No, Soul attacking him, I believe. No, I have no idea what happened there. just don't. I think McLeod went backwards 2 places. I think that's what happened. So, we have a gap of 1 second between Fade and Struggs at the front. They'll try and control the race from the front. Skull the Bull 1.7 seconds behind that. Matusas only 4 tenths behind the Alfa Romeo of Skull the Bull. Very much fighting for the championship, these two. Matusas with 40 points in fourth position, and Skull the Bull with 31 points in 5th position. And these two are championship rivals at the moment. Only 9 points between the two. They'll be battling all the way in. Skull the Bull comes into the pits now. He comes to the pits now. That seems like a strange move, but maybe he thinks... Oh, he's got a drive-through penalty. Yeah, he has got a drive-through penalty. That's what he's thinking. I better serve my drive-through penalty. Okay, so let's go back to interval. And yeah, let's have a look at interval. Louis Vest making further progress. He's got Joker. Joker matches into Dead Soul Collector. That is Joker out of the race. We just looked back there, and that is a full safety car. Full safety car. So, Skull the Bull is saved by the bell a little bit there because he is able... Oh, Soul Collector to disqualify from the session. There has been a calamitous moment there. Joker, I think, was maybe knocked out by Soul Collector there. Soul Collector trying to recharge the race. I just looked back and looked at that from the position of Louis Vest, from his back wing. And that would be very disappointing for Joker. He's had a great run of form recently, finishing quite a lot of the races in the points. And on the lead lap, really, really improved his race consistency recently. And he'll be very disappointed at that. Contact at the source. Soul Collector obviously coming through on a 3-lap pair of hards. Joker was on a 17-lap pair of hards. So, big pace difference there. But this gives the Williams team a chance to pit their cars. Do they decide to do it? Medium stay in now. Is it possible? It's possible. Do you want to do it? No. But I hope for a safety call towards the end and go on a pair of softs. Let's see if they pit. It's 50-50. They look to be fanning out a little bit from each other, so maybe thinking about the double stack. Certainly need more than 2 seconds for an effective double stack here. But this will put these cars quite far down the field. We certainly should see a few pit stoppers. So, does Struggs come into the pits? He doesn't come into the pits. Does Fade go into the pits? Fade also didn't opt for the pits. Matusas neither. Alex Trent neither. Shows how much I know. Bugger all. None of them has gone into the pits. So, AJS into 5th place, breathing down the necks of those top 4 cars on 18-lap old hards. He'll be looking to go forward and go forward quickly as they catch up to the safety car. Struggs just catching up now. We have another safety car period. So you got DSQ'd for blocking the pit lane. Yeah, so that sucks, mate. There's been a few disqualifications for blocking the pit lane this weekend. Some justified, some seemingly unjustified there. You were, trying to get out of that pit lane area. Let me know what happened between you and Joker Soul. Be interested to know. I did kind of catch a little bit of it. Look a bit like a contact at the exit between you two. Both of you now out of the race as a consequence of that collision. That has brought out the safety car. No, certainly not, mate. I was speaking about this a bit earlier, that you are your points tally does not reflect your performances this year. Let's just say that. Seems to be week in, week out, you're involved in some kind of incident. Not always your fault as well, pal. It's disappointing to see that soul, but I'm sure it will come good for you soon. You just need to get a bit of the rubber green, which you certainly haven't had recently. I hear some pings from the Discord from league discussion. Looks like a few incidents. So, just putting a reminder in the Discord. If you want any of your clip reviews, put them in the League Group clip review channel. You should have access to it. If you don't, contact an administrator and we'll look into that issue. We did see a problem this weekend where Fence just had access to bugger all, so we had to reset his permissions. But yeah, if you want your instance looked at and reviewed, then please put them into League Clip Review. I've not looked at any of them, so maybe it was just a bit of a discussion around some instances that didn't necessarily need a reviewing. If that's the case, leave them where they are. We have all the cars bunched up, but the safety car goes around at least one more time, at least one full lap in this game, which is realistic but annoying, because there's no reason on the track right now that the cars couldn't, go racing. They're all bunched up. They're all there. It does give people an opportunity to pit if they want to. I'm surprised that Scholar Ball hasn't pitted. I am very surprised that Scholar Ball hasn't pitted. He's on an old pair of hards, and I think a soft stint would do him no damage, right? He'd do him no damage at all. He'd still have to pit again, but he'd have a better race tyre. But I think that opportunity is now out the window. So a surprise that Scholar Ball has not pitted. Similar for Kev, 10th position, nothing to lose. Pair of softs wouldn't take him to the end, but certainly would give him an opportunity to go on mediums if there's another safety car in roughly 10 laps, which will take him to the end. So all the runners on hards or softs at the moment. So 2-step tyre compound difference between our runners. OS Degrees is the first of the runners on softs in 7th position. The only Ferrari remaining in the race after the earlier incident at the exit of the Pool Ferrer Turn 16 complex. Really, really difficult. Just after Stavalo. So hard to... I think there's just one line through that corner. There's just one line, and if you're not on it, then you either go wide, and someone's just gone flying into the wall. Was that Fade, or was that desync? I think that's a song by The Killers. And it was just a bit of desync. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so there's one line through that corner after Stavalo, and you either go wide and just miss the wall, hit the wall, or you kind of over-rotate the car, oversteer that is, into the inside wall, and you are lucky if you've got any or all four wheels on your car after that. So, Sol Collector saying, regroup, eyes on the next race, picking himself up. I think you always do that, Sol, quite well. Just refocus on the next race. Don't look back in anger, I heard you say. So, we have the safety car going in this lap. Soul Collector is resuming the race. Let's go on board with him. Not Soul Collector. Soul Collector wishes to resume the race. He's certainly not. It's Struggs who will be resuming the race this time around. In the Williams, he's nailed all his restarts, but you start to give away your bluffs to the car behind. Obviously, Struggs and Fade probably in a group together working. Fade has dropped too many car places back there. He's gone into the pits. He's dropped too many car places back there. That is certainly reviewable. Other cars could be very annoyed with that. He's dropped too many car places behind there. That gives Struggs an unfair advantage, and I think that will be reviewed by the stewards. There are certainly 10 car places that he dropped back there, and that is very much penalising, slowing down the pack, giving Struggs as much as a restart as he decided to pick. That is just poor racecraft all over, to be honest there, mate, because now you could have been at the back on a pair of mediums there. So, time penalty from the Matusas. AGS Inden is 8 tenths behind on a pair of hards. I mean, this is it. It gives an extra 3 seconds, so that is really, really bad racing. That will certainly be reviewed by the stewards. and AJS Inden is now 4 seconds behind his rival for the race win, let's say. AJS Inden doesn't need to stop again. Struggs does. That's a few seconds that he'll be itching to claw back. Will Struggs come into the pit at the end of this lap? I very much think he will be. Let's see who's close by. Denton Poole very close behind OS, and OS also very close behind Louis Rivest. The two Aston Martins battling the Ferraris. Love to see it. The classic battle from last year. At least in the early stages of the year, we saw Ferraris going and battling Aston Martins. Certainly, Louis Rivest involved with a great ding-dong with the two Ferraris at Saudi Arabia. Lap after lap of good racing between those last year. And we have OS Degrees trying to go for a move up the inside of Blanchimont. Has he got it done? He has, and they try to go too wide through there. It's so dangerous. Louis Rivest looks up to the inside. Is he going to try and go late on the brakes and get back up to it? OS Degrees leaves a bit of room. Too wide they go. Oh, a lovely bit of racing, but it'll be a bad exit for Lou. And OS Degrees gets the move done. Absolutely fantastic racing from these two. Scholar Bull taking a position from Kev too. And Struggs has not gone into the pits. AJS Inden stuck behind Matusas. 21 lap old hards on that Matusas car. Now, he is slow on the straights, AJ, I've noticed. Very slow on the straights, but very king through that second sector. But that's not where you get the overtaking done. That is not where you get the overtaking done. But will he do enough here to get by? The gap is still at 4 seconds between him and Struggs in front. He goes up the inside. Matusas will try to hold him around the outside. We've seen some good racing through here. Do they touch? No, they don't. And I think he gets it done onto Malmedy. And does Matusas have a run down to Rivage and the new Bruxelles corner? I think he doesn't. So I think AJ gets the move done, lose the further second to the car in front, but will work on closing down that gap in front. He has a tyre advantage, about 14 laps tyre advantage on the car in front. AJ will be looking to get to the end of the race on these tyres, I think. Who else is battling? Dead in the pool is caught up behind Louis Rivest. Louis Rivest probably should pick a nice place to give Devin the Pool the place here, because he certainly has a tyre advantage at this stage in the race, and they are not racing each other. So I wonder if Louis Rivest will try to peel off to the side. I think he's desperately tried to stay up in the DRS of the car in front, but I think he's falling further and further behind. 8 tenths. And does he get it done? He'll have DRS going over the line. Well, no, he won't, because he won't have DRS until the exit of Eau Rouge and Radion. So he'll have to stay within a second through La Source, through the second corner, the unnamed second corner. And the detection is just there. Well, it's not there. It's there on the mini-map, but it is just now. And I think he's fallen over a second out of that gap. So does not have DRS and slowing down Dead in the Pool here. I don't know if those two are in a party together, but Dead in the Pool will breeze past Louis here. I think Lou pulls to the side, says, there you go attack OS. I will try and stick to your coattails and catch up with the leading pack. AJS Inden not making great inroads into the car ahead, which will be positive for Struggs at this stage in the race. So, Dead in the Pool now only 7 tenths behind OS Degrees. You can see the pace that Dead in the Pool has on these softs. They're now 8 lap old, so they're getting a bit past it. McLeod, meanwhile, is on a 4 lap pair of old softs, so he's closing in on Geordie, I think, a little bit by lap, a little bit by bit, that is. And Alex Trenton G and Fade are on the mediums at the back of the grid. Alex Trenton G is going to start holding up Fade here. So Louis Rivest has a time penalty, 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Quite a few cars with those penalties now. I'll update that soon. Let's ride on board, though, through this tricky final sector. Really hard to overtake anywhere, but I think Dead in the Pool is certainly eyeing it up, getting a bit closer. Can he go around the outside at Blanchimont? It spells disaster. He just about sticks it in the centre of the track lines. That was a masterful overtake from Dead in the Pool. But now that gives DRS to OS Degrees. He will fight back tooth and nail, but he doesn't. He goes into the pits. He decides, I am not fighting that. Dead in the Pool is now off to chase down the cars in front. But obviously, with that older, soft tyre, they'll start to go off. Fantastic overtake around the outside of OS Degrees there. Dendenpool slightly above the day contender. Fantastic overtake. Daring and kept it within the white lines. Just really, really good overtake in my eyes. As we have OS Degrees, he goes onto a pair of mediums, sides its time, and he's just behind Fade. Not too far behind Fade, but it shows the sort of time that Fade has lost, cooked up behind Alex Trent G. Now, Fade, will he attempt to overtake Alex here? Alex is going to try and overtake Kevin. So, Alex will make a move here, but I don't think Fade is going to be close enough to make a move. So, it's going to be stuck up behind the Haas of Kev for a lap. See that closing speed, the difference of tyre and compound and confidence on the brakes is large, and it absolutely throws one at the inside of Malmedy. I think the Haas of Kev just pulls the silencers off. See you later. You go and have your own battle, pal. So, absolute bravery from Fade to throw one up the inside of Malmedy there, and now he's closing down Alex Trent G. He's got the bit between his teeth here, Fade. He's going to have to work extra hard to make this strategy work. Now, obviously, Strug's pits now. I think he'll have a gap of about 5 seconds, 6 seconds to Fade. So he will have track position and better tyres. So this early stop for Fade hasn't worked as well as backing at the pack, which is definitely an incident to be reviewed by the stewards at the end of the race. So he may have just got himself a penalty and given himself a lot more work to do. I don't know why he didn't just pit under safety car, to be honest. But he does get past Alex Trent G before Blanchimont. Better cornering out there. He will not have DOS for the next 2 zones. There is a yellow flag through the final sector. Scholar Ball going into the pitch. You have to think he's been involved in some kind of incident on those 23-lap hards, trying to get his one stop done. Probably onto a pair of mediums. We'll see what he comes out on. Alex Trent G, 7 tenths behind. He'll get pulled along in the DRS straights. Lots more ERS. So I think Alex Trent G will do everything here to stay within the DRS and get the move redone into the Les Combes. Let's see what his speed is like. You'd think he'd be able to close him down, but I think Fade has just a lot more confidence. Rene Rouge drops him another 2 tenths, and I think that is curtains for this particular battle between these two. Because even with DRS, he's not close that much, has he? Maybe, well, overall on the straight, he's negative 2 tenths, but I think part of that was his exit through Valion. So Fade will look forward. Next car ahead is 7.5 seconds ahead, Denderpool, but he will have to come off those softs quite soon. They're bringing a bit past it. McLeod, Denderpool must have had a spin, actually, maybe involved in that yellow flag at the final turn, the bus stop chicane, because McLeod is now ahead. Geordie is in 5th position on those softs. Speaking to him on Friday, he said, I'm going to try and be a bit more aggressive, because I think being aggressive can make me places. Obviously, aggression should be measured there, because aggression does cause incidents, but if you are too polite and kind to others, that just makes people want to walk all over you and take your place. So let's see how that treats him. He's up in 5th position at the moment, but does suddenly have to pit very soon on that pair of softs. But sticking with Louis Vest on those older pair of hards. Matusaf into the pits from 3rd position in the race. Let's see what tyre he goes on. Presumably a pair of mediums at this stage of the race, you'd have to imagine. And it does look like a pair of mediums for the Alpine car, number 37. 4th. Yes, he's 4th in the championship. And he falls behind Fade. And he'll fall behind Alex too, I think. Matusas, where does he come out? Maybe just in front of Alex. But Alex will have a DRS run and warm tyres. So can Alex get ahead of Matusas? Or have the Alpine team done a perfect strategy to get him in front of that McLaren car? Let's see. I think he's gaining. I think Alex Trent G is going to cruise around the outside before the DRS detection activation zone. He's already around the outside. So a little bit more extra work for Matusas to do. Alpine just misjudged that pit stop. We have AGS Inden 7 seconds behind Struggs. Struggs absolutely pushing. Maybe goal hanging for a safety car a little bit as well, just to make his life easier coming through the pack. But we'll see how he unfolds here. I think if he pitted now, he'd be in 5th position ahead of his teammate at Williams. Maybe behind Fade and Alex, actually. I think they've made a bit of progress on these recent laps. It's 20 seconds. I think he may just be in front of Fade, actually. Just in front of Fade. If he pitted now, let's see if he does. As he comes to the chicane, the bus stop chicane, as it used to be known, sticks to the right. He does come into the pits. The Williams team are out and ready to receive the championship leader for a pit stop. Let's see where this will put him. Certainly making fall behind AGS Inden, who's only 6.3 seconds down. Louis Vest will probably be another person who gets ahead of, and then Paul will pit and McLeod will pit soon, so he won't have to worry about those too much. He goes onto a pair of mediums. How quick is it for him? It could be I think it was quite a quick stop, that. It doesn't really give you a time, so I can't tell you for sure. As he comes out the pits, where is that put him? Louis Vest is going around the source. Has he done enough to stay in front? He has done enough to stay in front. Will Louis Vest get DRS? I don't think he does. I don't think he will. So Struggs goes into second place in the league and has 11 seconds to make up. 11 seconds to make up on AGS Inden. I think that 3 seconds... Oh, and there's a safety car now. There is a safety car now. So what will AGS Inden do? He won't have another pair of mediums. Will softs go to the end? Pass. I don't think they will. We have cop softs who have been out there for 12 laps. Some of those are on the safety car, though. I certainly think all the soft winners will pit here. Why have we got this? So I can't see anyone who has retired further. Joker is the last retiree, and he was out in the last stop. So if anyone can let me know what's happened there, I'd be greatly appreciated. But Struggs is getting that gap closed down for free. He's falling further behind from AGS Inden, though. So that gives AGS Inden the opportunity to stop. He's on a pair of hard tyres. AGS Inden could possibly go onto a pair of softs here and go aggressive. He would go off very quickly. He'd probably come out in front of Fade. Let's see if AJ pits. I don't think he will. He doesn't. No, I think he still says he spends as long as time as possible thinking about it. But he does not pit. Let's see who else pits. Louis Vest, I think, will be having a think about it, certainly. Louis Vest is thinking about it. He's thinking about it. He's thought about it, and he's coming in. The Aston Martin team are ready and waiting for the, I don't know if he's number 1 or number 2, Aston Martin. Let's say he's number 1. Let's boost his ego. And let's see what tyres he's going to go on to. A pair of mediums would be preferable from here. And I think he is going on to a pair of mediums. Is it a fresh pair of mediums? That will be important for his race. We also have Denner Paul. He's coming into pits. That slowed him down a little bit. It is a fresh pair of mediums. And we see another pair of softs go on to Denner Paul. He's going to try and make softs work to the end. It's possible. They'd suck. But, who knows? This may not be the final safety car. Struggs has caught up to AJ. Oh, you can't feel for AJ, but AJ's run a superb race so far, and he'll be hoping to keep those Williams cars behind for as long as possible. Strategy not just working out from there, but I think, yeah, the loss through the pit lane isn't too big here. So if it came out, I think Struggs would still be behind if he pitted a lap later. But that's typical when you do pit, the lap after. That's when the safety car comes out. But McLeod on a pair of mediums. Toblerone's also pitted for a pair of mediums. And the only car to pit for a pair of softs is Dead in the pool. Who, let's hope he is alive in the pool. Because we want him to come through the pack. He's shown some good racecraft and speed on his SRL race debut, reserving from Rudgriff this weekend. It's lovely to have him on board as part of the league. Let's see how he turns out over the next few weeks and months as he waits for a seat. There's also the SRL 50% league coming in soon. TBD, to be announced. Not to be announced because we've half announced it. But to be confirmed how we're going to run that, when that's going to be. But we are running practice races over the upcoming weeks. Please look on the Discord if you want to be involved with those. You only need to be a clean racer to be involved with those. You don't have to have the full reserve driver ranking. If you're part of the Discord and not yet got your clean driver ranking, then just join a few of our social lobbies and don't be an idiot. So as things stand at the moment, AJ Essendon would be getting 25 points. That would boost his chances. That would put him up to around 4th or 5th in the championship, but a long way to go. Obviously, Struggs will be battling tooth and nail, and you expect him to get by on that better compound of tyres. Fade up into 3rd position after battling back through the pack. Let's hope there's no shenanigans under the safety car restart this time around. Alex Trent G running a superb race in that McLaren. Absolutely superb race in the McLaren. He's up to 4th position, having a very strong race indeed. No penalties yet. Fade, it's worth noting, does have a penalty. So let's have a look at the penalties while we are in this safety car period. This should be the final lap of it by the looks of things. So Fade has 3 seconds worth of penalties. He's the highest car up the order to have penalties. OS Degrees, 6 seconds worth of penalties. Skull the Ball down to Dead in the Pool. They all have 3 seconds worth of penalties. Skull the Ball, Geordie, Louis Vest, Backload, and Dead in the Ball, that is. Toblerone has 6 seconds worth of penalties, and Kevin chilling out with a casual 12. He's been doing a bit of rallycross, I believe, this weekend, and really finding the track limits. Kev saying, I crashed on my way into pits and lost my wing. That will be why the safety car is out. That probably just needs to be a VSC, right? But in real life, it would probably be a full safety car. Or they just close the pit lane. I wish they could just close the pit lane. Because it would have been awesome to see Struggs close down AJ lap by lap. And I think he would have done it pretty quickly knowing his pace around here. But I'm sure AJ will give him a battle nonetheless through these next stages. And it'll be another 2 laps at least until the DRS is resumed after the safety car comes in. And the safety car should come in on this lap. Let's go on board with AJ. It does indeed come in this lap. So AJ is now taking the lead of the pack. How are his restarts going to be? We'll ride on board with him and make sure that his restart is one clear, concise move. Lordy, let's just have a quick breather. Quick breather over. We have 11 laps, 15 laps, apologies, till the end of this race. Let's hope that was our last safety car period and we can crack on with this. Where does he decide to go? Warms up his tyres, throws it into the first part of the chicane and the second, and he hits the throttle and he's back to the racing speed. He has the DRS on. He does pull a little bit of a gap to Struggs, 6 tenths. Not the best restart in the world, but could have been worse. Meanwhile, Fade is just behind Struggs. Let's see where the gaps are forming. 5 tenths to Struggs from AJ. Struggs will try and get the job done as early as possible. Try and dispatch AJ as early as possible too. Struggs having a greater straight line speed. He's already up 4 tenths, 3 tenths. So much more confident through Eau Rouge. Will he get the job done? He goes side by side at the beginning of the Kemmel Straight and he gets the job done. AJ jinks back behind. Can he try to throw it up the inside? He doesn't. So that is the race lead. Struggs has the race lead. That's going to be painful for AJ that he wasn't able to battle him for that long, but he will look backwards at Fade and think, I'm racing Fade here. Second in this race is absolutely on. Fade has 3 seconds worth of penalties. I have no penalties at the moment. So if he can keep Fade behind, longer and longer it goes, the harder it becomes for Fade to make that gap. Of course, Fade has that tyre compound advantage. Matusas is under pressure for OS Degrees going into Pouon. OS Degrees with 6 seconds worth of penalties, running wide around Pouon. He's lost it. He has lost it. Has he caused collision? Oh, he almost picks up Skull the Ball. Just enough to correct it. And that is going to be frustration for him. He'll certainly need to change a wing. He is going to be so frustrated, riding right behind Matusas in the dirty air, washed out through Pouon, that tricky left-hander down the hill, and hitting the inside. Let's go on board with Fade as he tries to close up on AJ through this final sector. Let's see if he can. Certainly through here, he's a lot tighter, getting 2 tenths just through there. And he will be looking to dispatch AJ as soon as possible and try to chase down the race win himself. 3 seconds worth of penalties, and I don't think he's had the measure of Struggs' pace this weekend so far, but who knows how they are performing on these medium tyres comparatively. Fade does have an older set of medium tyres compared to his teammate though, so this may be not as easy an overtake as Struggs had, and AJ not quite turning his tyres on, not quite having the speed here. You can see the speed difference between the Williams setup. Actually, Fade has to back out of it, and he goes for the inside, so he's cut a corner here, so he should be backing off and not trying to gain a place here. But he's looking about it. AJ does go defensive, but I don't think Fade will be taking a place here. And he loses it a little bit on the inside of the entry of Lacombe. Meanwhile, McLeod is battling Louis Rivest and has got past Louis Rivest. Both on mediums, but runs wide. And that will allow both those Aston Martins through. That's so very straight for McLeod. He got by, but he didn't get it done. Didn't get it stopped into Lacombe. And AJ is now again under pressure from Fade, under siege from the Williams car as they dive into Pouon. He had used a little bit too much curve through Lacombe on this lap, Fade, and he has got a little bit more work to do, but he is only 7 tenths behind. This is very doable for him. But every lap that goes on, AJ will build a little bit more confidence, know where to defend from Fade. I think once DRS comes in at the end of this lap, it's going to become harder and harder. Struck is checking out in the lead. He certainly has the bit between his teeth. He loves the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, and I'm sure he'll be delighted to know that this track is possibly staying on the calendar for next year. So, Fade closing down on AJ. The gaps in the pack aren't as close as this battle, so we'll stay on board with this battle. McLeod getting a bit closer to Den the Pool through the final sector. Really battling Struggs. A 1:45.7 fastest lap of the race. A lot faster. 1:45.9 was from these cars, so that's a lot faster. A lot faster. So, Fade closing in. He'll have DRS at the top of Radion. He's not so close to have fallen out here, but did have to back up a little bit. AJ, will he go? He goes to the outside. He thinks, there's not really much worth defending this. Won't lose too much time here. I'll try to stick to third place, stick on his coattails ahead, and try not to lose too much time. If you can stay in DRS lap after lap, that'll be big for... but AJ gets the 3-second timer penalty, and now he's under pressure from Alex Trent-G just behind for that final podium position. That would be so frustrating. He didn't need to cut that corner. He was under no pressure, just a lapse of concentration. And I'm sure change of steering feel as we see Kev. He is spun at the exit of Malmedy. Can he get back on the track safely? OS Degrees has pitted for a pair of hards, and I have a feeling these are the hards he started on. He is on the pair. That's just tragic for us. He's been so consistent. He'll be hoping for a late safety car to make amends to this. Kev has spun again, and I think he'll just wait for the car of OS to come by, but he doesn't want to wait too long because he will end up getting disqualified, but I think he's done enough to resume the race there. We have Den the Pool. He spun at Piff Path, and Toblerone in 10th position here, quite far behind McLeod. McLeod was battling for this position, so I wonder if Den the Pool and McLeod have made contact somewhere. Mr. Bobby again going slowly through this corner. So we have only 2 cars without penalties. They are Struggs and Alex Trent-G. Alex Trent-G is closing on AJ Sinden, so the lead of the race has slipped from his hands. Second place has slipped from his hands because he's already 2 tenths behind Fade, and also with a penalty where I think the penalties are even between the two. Yeah, that's true. And Alex Trent-G is now within DRS range of AJ Sinden. So could Alex Trent-G now go mount a battle for second place on the road? That would be very, very important for him, but very detrimental to Fade, who is trying to keep his championship battle alive with his team. At the moment, he'd be losing another 7 points, 8 points, possibly, as Struggs picks up the fastest lap point as things stand. And he doesn't do enough to dispatch AJ here, so he'd have to get by soon, as he's already dwindling on the edge of having the 3 seconds wiped out by track positioning. We have Geordie right on the back of Louis Rivest, going on the run down to Pouon. Left they go, all the way down, sweeping downwards, and Geordie running an excellent race in his debut McLaren outing. First race in the team. As a full-time seat driver, he's absolutely deserved his place, putting some great results as reserve drives through the first 4 rounds of the year and in the practice races just before the beginning of the year. So, absolutely deserving a race seat. It's a pleasure to have you on board full-time, Geordie. And he'll be looking for good points today to round up a great weekend for McLaren. I think just 2 points coming into this weekend, but this could be where the McLaren charge sparks into life for the second season of the Syndicate Racing League, the SRL-100. We have just 10 laps remaining. 11 laps, including the 1-1, as Geordie looks to fight Louis Rivest. Can Louis Rivest try to keep Geordie behind? Running a good race here, Louis Rivest, sitting currently 15th in the championship, Louis. Geordie sitting in 19th with 2 points that he's picked up reserving for other teams. Can Geordie do enough here to close down Louis? It looks like Louis pulled enough of a gap to defend here. It's actually crept over 1 second through Eau Rouge, but it was under 1 second beforehand. So he does have the DRS. He does gain a little bit of time back, but it's going to get harder and harder from here. Louis Rivest gets a time penalty, though. That's enough for Geordie to take the position on the road. Not on the road, after the penalties are applied. So let's see how hard Geordie will battle with that one, whether he can keep his penalties down as well. Louis Rivest would fall down into the clutches of McLeod as things stand on the track. 8th position at the moment, but that could fall further down. Sculler Bull, meanwhile, is racing Alex Trent G, and I think he's got him. Sculler Bull on the medium tyres coming through. He has gotten Ernest Degrees as retired from the session. On the exit of Malmedy, he's crashed. Let's see if we can get a view of that instant. It doesn't look like the safety car is going to come out. With only 10 laps to go, it would really switch the session. We also have Alex Trent G. He smashed it out of the Stavolo. Oh, he's on the exit. He's lost it. He's thrown away a great result there. That I've gone from saying McLaren re-sparked the light into their championship battle to thinking Geordie better pick up some points, because that's not going to happen. That is commentator's curse right there for you. Disappointing. AJ Sinden is now under threat from Sculler Bull, but Sculler Bull does have equal penalties with the cars around him. Looks like Fade. So frustrating for AJ, because he does not. He's kept in check with Fade ahead. If he didn't get that penalty, I mean, it would have been a long stretch to not get a single warning for. And I guess it allows him to push a little bit extra. But if he didn't get that, he'd still be second on the road. And that's the things that really cost you positions and cost you places. Rocks your confidence. You start to eat yourself alive about those moments. And it gets harder and harder to sweep them under the carpet and forget about them and let them road over time. He'll be super frustrated about that, but I know AJ has the pace to bounce back from this, and a third position would not be bad at all, given 15 points, and that would take him to just behind Ernest Degrees in the championship. Actually, correction, just behind Matusas in the championship. If Matusas got no points, but he's getting some points here, he's run very well here. He's in 5th position, and Sculler Bull is only 8 tenths behind AJ, so Sculler Bull is a car that is possibly could challenge for the second position in this race. We have just under 10 laps of racing go as we stare out to the mountains in the background of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. We have sector 1 and 2. There is a spinner, must be dead in the pool, who has spun there. Sculler Bull getting in DRS range of the Red Bull. Sculler Bull seemingly having a good race so far. Haven't heard any complaints about him this weekend. Had big involvement in an incident last weekend, which he did take on chin and apologise for. Looking forward, he's hoping to do some lovely clean overtakes, and can this be one of them as he closes in on AJ? AJ does have a bit of a gap here. It's going to be from a long way out if an overtake does get done on this lap, but they don't want to battle too hard because they'll fall away from Fade. And actually, AJ has closed up the gap to Fade over the last lap. It's 8 tenths slower, and AJ is saying, I'm not out of this one yet. I may have this penalty, but I am not out of this second position. Struggs, in the meantime, is saying, you're out of it. You're out of it for leading. Struggs is just chilling. The purple helmet Struggs. So, Scholar Bull prepares another attack on AJ. He's closer this lap round. He's closer, but AJ is closer to Fade, and it's just getting into the DRS range. What is happening to Fade? Where is his confidence going? Is the pace in those medium tyres starting to go off? And Skull gets another 3-second time penalty. He won't want that. All that makes his life extra difficult, and he's now on the road fourth and would be for a long time, even if he got in front of the two cars ahead. But AJ now has DRS. He's starting to come back into this. His confidence is rebuilding. Those medium tyres are certainly starting to go off. Let's have a look at the medium tyres. 16 laps on the mediums. They do start to go off. So actually, there's every chance that AJ could take this position and take this position well. Just a slight lift through there, a confidence lift that was. And he will get closer and closer and closer, but that straight line speed is certainly superior. And there's a jink to the right from Fade to try and break the toe. Bit of a waste of time, all in all. But through Lake Combe they go, and you can see the confidence of the Red Bull growing. He's all up for this fight for second place as they go into Bruxelles, the old corner of Rivage, and down into Speaker's corners, a left-hander. Super tricky. You want to maximise the inside curb and the outside curb, but keep it within the white lines, as AJ demonstrates perfectly through Pouon. The tricky left-hander, double left-hander, downhill, downhill, downhill. Feels as close to a NASCAR track as you can get around there. And the right and left of Pierce Path, following closely, not gaining too much time on this lap. Looks like Fade has pulled a little bit of a gap around here, but still hasn't broke that DRS zone as they go through Stavelot and onto the back straight. As they go on there, it looks like a little bit of a moment from AJ, just losing a couple of attempts to Fade. Fade tries to use as much ERS as possible to close that down, while AJ tries to match it to stay within DRS. It's important to his race. It's important to his race that he stays within DRS here. He does have DRS for the pit straight as they come through the bus stop chicane. And lap 38 is completed. On to 39. There's 5-6 laps of this race remaining. La Source is the first corner. Right-hander dips down. You have to connect it perfectly. And there's a bit of confidence there from AJ. Through that corner, he closes the gap a little bit. He'll have DRS. How firm and committed can he be to Eau Rouge? There is certainly not a lift that time round, but just look at the straight line speeds at Williams. That straight line speed alone may be enough to cause damage to AJ's chance of getting this second position, unless there's any kind of penalty here, And let's just have a look at the penalties again to remind ourselves. 3 seconds for second place and third place, AJ Sinden. Fourth place, Scholar Bull has a lot to do now to come back at this one, as his mediums will start to go off. Oh, a bit of a slide out of Bruxelles. That will cost AJ time. That will cost him 5 tenths, 6 tenths. Starts to fall away that time as they go up to the run-up to Pouon. But now he'll cut that time, and it's about half a second he's lost all in all there. He'll have a bit of work to get back into the DRS zone as ERS is shot, as is Fade. Fade is also running low, but not quite as low as AJ. AJ's really pushed hard to maintain that gap, and AJ having superb confidence on his wheel. He's really grown used to his input device, and his form in this season certainly is one of the best compared to last year. And it's just been unlucky that the last 2 races he's been involved in first lap incidents, but he's come back this time around showing his true pace and showing his credentials, and it's a long season ahead. Only 5 rounds in. We have 10 races left after this. Next week we head to Zandvoort, the Dutch Grand Prix, but he does lose another half a second in that final part of the lap to Fade. So it's his second place charge fading here. It certainly seems to. Fade seems to have rocked the confidence out of him. Well, yeah, rocked the confidence out of AJ and brought that confidence back into himself. Now Scholar Bull will be sensing an attack, and he has a lot to do to get this podium position off AJ with that extra penalty coming. But he does have DRS, and he does close down on the back straight, and AJ loses another 5 tenths to Fade. So Fade just needs to take it slow. He's almost out of that 3-second gap if he was to get another penalty. And Scholar Bull will be desperate to get ahead of AJ, so he could build a gap and maybe chase after Fade. Who knows? Fade could get a 6-second penalty still. We don't know the results until they finish the race. Alex Trent Gini only won without a penalty. Correction. Struggs, of course, in his race of his own, so might as well not be classed with the others. Just put him in his own bracket and give him his own crown. He's done fantastic around here. I'd say it was a Grand Chelem, but it wasn't quite as Scholar Bull goes very attacking through Piff Paff. He's right at the backside of him and all the way up the inside. This is attacking stuff from Scholar Bull, trying to take advantage of AJ's slowness. AJ seems to have gone off the boil a little bit here as they come through this final sector. Scholar Bull will want to attack, but you've got to remember that the best overtaking opportunity is into Lacombe at the top of the hill, top of the circuit even. And if you try and take him here, you may have DRS for the pit straight, but you won't have DRS for the long back straight and leave yourself open to attack. But I think Scholar Bull just wants this done as soon as possible. He senses that AJ's tyres are starting to fade. His hopes are fading. And he goes up the inside of La Source, gets the job done. A wonderful move. But he will be left vulnerable on the exit. And AJ will have DRS coming up to the top of the hill now. So will AJ go fight back? This allows the gap to grow to the Williams car ahead. Of course, I'm just talking about fade there. The gap is already insurmountable for Struggs unless he runs into issues at the end of the race. AJ's past him. I'd lost him there. AJ's back past him. And that's what I'm saying. Scholar Bull attacking early on there has cost him this position because that is just a free pass on the straight. If you're within 5 tenths, you are cruising. Do you know what I mean? You are drop tap down, you are flying by, you're saying thank you very much for the position. You shouldn't have attacked me that early. So, Scholar Bull's aggression into La Source, and you saw it with Vettel today. He went aggressive on Zhao, I believe, and it ended up costing him a place to Ocon. It wasn't Zhao, maybe Gasly. It ended up costing him a place to Ocon, who Ocon then sped up and overtook 2 cars along the Kemmel Straight. So, Scholar Bull will have to go again, but every lap that goes by and he's losing it. Oh, he catches it just. He's still in this fight. He's still only 7 tenths behind, but every lap that goes by is a lost opportunity. He has to build a 3-second gap on AJ, and he's lost a bit of confidence there. Maybe overheating the back tyres, fighting so hard as he lost it a little bit on the exit of Piff Paff, and semi-spin, a half spin, a half of a half spin, and he is now 7 tenths behind AJ. AJ may be able to live to fight another day on this next lap. Let's see where they come out of the source. So he'll have DRS on the pit straight as they go over and tip onto lap 41. He does have DRS here, of course he does. So down 6 tenths. How nicely can he get it turned in? A little bit late of the apex there, but it won't cost him too much time. I think 6 tenths is what he had before. He's lost maybe 3/100ths of a second there. Will he be close enough through Eau Rouge to do AJ here? I don't think he will. It just becomes more and more unlikely that he can get this position unless AJ gets another penalty. And every lap you're battling to get by someone, every lap you overheat your tyres. So let's have a look up and down the field. Matusas is 1.7 seconds behind Lou. Lou having a stellar race up into 5th position at the moment. He'll be very happy with that, starting 19th on the grid. Yet to finish higher than 7th, I think, this year. 6.7. I don't know how many finishes he's out, to be honest, but it's not been top win from Lou, despite Keji carrying the points for Aston Martin into 5th place at the moment. The reserve driver who's reserved in Hungary. And there is a spinner, Scholar Bull. Scholar Bull has spun, and there goes his chance. And he may lose a position to Louis Rivest here. He has spun. His tyres will be hot. He'll have to take it super cautious through Piff Paff and Stavilo as we see the yellow flags being waved for his slow-moving cars, but it goes green. And now Louis Rivest is now only 3 seconds behind Scholar Bull. And Scholar Bull will be struggling as we have a slow-moving Kev being lapped as they go down this log swamp sector of the track, the full fair comb. And Scholar Bull pushing really, really hard, overheating his tyres, as I said, and that is curtains for his podium challenge here. He started right from the back of the race with Louis Rivest in tow, and Louis Rivest is now 4.5 seconds behind, so you'd have to imagine that gap is going to grow as he's got the confidence. But AJ Sinden only 3.3 seconds behind Fade, and now doesn't have to battle and focus on that car behind attacking him. So if he can close under that 3-second barrier, and Fade gets a penalty, it's still not over for second place, but obviously we like to see the positions made on track despite... desync. I don't. Yeah, that's gone. So he's did lose it a little bit there, but not as much as the desync originally entailed. As Matusas gets by Louis Vest, he closes up, but Louis Vest is not taking that sitting down, and he retakes the lead, the fifth position, into Malmedy. Can Matusas try and take him into Bussell? Matusas does everything he can, but he's going to have to go around for another lap. Similar penalties between these two. So this is certainly the battle to the end. Running wide through Speaker's Corner. That is typical for that corner, following another car. Very tricky to follow another car around this second sector. Obviously better this year than it was last year, which gives you a better chance of overtaking through the third and first sectors. But following cars through the second sector just so hard because of the dirty air, the wake, and the washing out that causes. A really interesting 44 laps of the Belgian Grand Prix that's been commentated here. As we go on to the penultimate lap, Scruggs is in the lead. I was wondering if he wanted to pit and go onto a pair of softs. I believe 19 seconds or 20 seconds is the time lost, so he would have come out behind Fade. And I think Fade wouldn't have been out behind Fade, so that's why that hasn't happened. I think he may already have the fastest lap, but Matusas 1.1 seconds away from Lou, so won't have DRS on this lap, but will attempt to have DRS in the next lap. I think Lou made a mistake the lap before, and that's what gave Matusas the opportunity to overtake at the end of the Kemmel Straight. He dipped under a second, he goes back over a second. The line is there. Where was he? I think he was over. So I don't think he's going to have DRS here, just out of it. And there is only going to be one more opportunity on the DRS straight for Matusas to overtake. This could go down to the final lap. AJ Sinden, 4.3 seconds behind Fade. You have to think that is going to be the top three, unless there's a spin by any of those. It'll be Struggs, Scholar Ball getting another penalty. So moving further back, and that gives Lou the opportunity to take that position. It's only 1.8 seconds away from Lou now. Those penalties really do stack up and count. So, my lordy, which way will this go? I think Matusas is doing everything within his power, and Lou is doing everything to keep him at arm's length. It's sticking and floating at 1 second, floating around like a bee from flower to flower, over a second, under a second. It will come down to a bit of pot luck where that second sits as they go through the DRS zones at the pit straight and the obviously the Kemmel Straight as well, where the main DRS zone is. He falls a bit further behind there, further 3 tenths there. So Louis Vest looking more and more confident to take this fifth position as they go on. I don't think he's got enough in his tank to snatch another 1.8 seconds away from Scott Ball unless he makes a mistake. AJ Sinden is only 4 seconds behind Fade in the car of I've no idea what I'm saying now. I'm just going to stop what I'm saying. So Struggs, as he goes on to the final lap, he's coming to the end of the first sector. What a dominant display from Struggs. He's putting every little bit of time on grabbing that second season trophy. It's been superlative performance from him. And I'm going to work on trying to say superlative because I've attempted it twice and butchered it twice. So, a stunning drive. But we have Matusas less than a second behind. He has DRS and he ducks under a second, but he's not done enough. He's not done enough, and he's really aggressive through there, but runs wide through the second part of the Kuma into Malmedy, loses the second. I think that's that for that battle. AJ Sinden has done everything within his power to get under 3.5 seconds. Any little slip up from Fade here, and I think AJ Sinden could have him on the line if he gets another penalty. If Fade gets another penalty, and that is a big if, because there's not many of the corners left where that penalty could come here. And I think we have to hand it to Struggs as he comes through the final corner. Massive congratulations to Struggs. Didn't win last week out, was very disappointed with it, but well done, mate. I think that's the third win of the year, and a huge congratulations at the 5th round Belgium. His favourite Grand Prix goes to him. I think Fade's done enough for second position here. Congratulations, that's Williams 1-2. Second week in a row, Williams 1-2 for that. And well done, and AJ returned to form, getting past the first lap and showing how quick he is. Scullable, meanwhile, he could have had a bit more out of this race, but just mistakes at crucial times costing him. Louis Reves has done enough to keep Matusas at bay. Has he done enough? Yes, he has done enough. Matusas into 6th position, 5th position for Louis Reves. Geordie, his first race in McLaren, ends him in 7th place. And Toblerone coming through Blochmont now is too far back with too high a penalty to do anything about that. I think Alex Trent G will be clinging on to the idea of nabbing that 8th place away from Toblerone. Currently on the road he is, and this is where penalties really do matter. Toblerone has 9 seconds worth of penalties, so he'll be looking to come in at 28.230 or less down on Geordie, I guess. So where does he come? He's only 17 seconds down. I think he's done enough here. I have no idea. Right, okay, that was interval. So he was way behind. So that was a stupid bit of commentating. McLeod, he is coming round for that final point. That's the 3rd time this year he scored the final point. And Dedenapol, very unlucky on his first outing in the SRL, but congratulations nonetheless for making it to the end. A difficult track, and congratulations on our race winner again, Strokes. Superlative performance. I almost nailed it there. Well done. And great racing. Yep, great racing from everyone. It was a good race, wasn't it, Joker? And I will take. Actually, I'm not going to take a clip at the end because I just use a normal video anyway. I'll go through the race results, but I'm not going to take a clip at the end this week because I don't use it anyway. I just use the main video on demand. Obviously, you can catch all of our stream replays in full on Twitch and on our YouTube channel. They are uploaded after the race. They usually come available in the early hours of the morning, Monday morning, GMT, BST, rather, British Standard Time, Daylight Savings. So, Struggs takes the win, 89-minute race time. Superb win for him, waiting for an hour and a half, and he gets the win. And, well done, mate. Well done. That was a fantastic race. So obviously keep an eye out for Driver of the Day. Thank you for the commentating compliment. Keep an eye out for Driver of the Day and Moment of the Day nominations going up. Any instance, any review, and get that up. If you are needing to get penalties removed, make sure to check out the instance and pits review. I'll see if I can quickly get it done here. But you'll need to clip this instance and pit kind of video. If you just click the end of this video, you should be able to do it. So I'll see if I can get the instance and pits done. Just needs to be a video of this sector and we can get it reviewed. Been a few questions over the last weeks about what to do with that, and it just needs to be the end of this video. Just clip that last 30 seconds and we can review it as long as it wasn't a served penalty, which it won't be. So congratulations to our race winner Struggs once again, and the lockout. Light to finish. It wasn't light to finish because you didn't lead every lap. Almost a Grand Slam. But incredible racing from everyone in the SRL. And that's, I guess, a Syndicate Racing League production. Thanks for tuning in. Next week we are at Zandvoort, same time every week. We also may have a commentary stream for the SRL practice race. Haven't decided if I'll be commentating that or not, or racing in it. So, thank you very much. This has been an SRL League production, and see you soon.